Executives View, the sports podcast where the stakes are high and the debates are fierce. Please welcome your host, Aaron Sirius Simmons, alongside co-host Barry DeVille Jordan. Each week, we bring you into the boardroom where the elite minds of sports converge. From the gridiron strategies to the business behind the ball, we tackle the hard-hitting questions and give you an insider's perspective. So pull up a chair and join us at the table where champions are made and legends are born. This is the Executives View. Let's get down to business.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Executives View. This is the view from on top, man. You could be anywhere in the world here on a Tuesday night, but you're here with the executives, and I do appreciate that. You guys know how I get down, man. If you see the show, share the show. We're all over the place, man. We on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Spotify, TikTok. We're doing big things in big places, and definitely want to take everybody along for the journey. I don't do this by myself, fellas. I got a group of guys that are sitting here ready to chop it up and talk about everything around the world of sports. My man, Villain's in the building. What's going on, my guy? How we doing, sir?
Villain. Listen, I have to come out with a public service announcement. I have to apologize for my behavior last week. It was unbecoming of a villain. My mother was not at all happy with my behavior last week, and she read me a little bit of the Bible. She read me Revelations 21:4. And she read me some other stuff too. She sent me some gospel songs because it was Pentecost week, so she was really like trying to heal the villain. So yeah, I do. Listen, the Knicks get me upset. That's what happens. But it's not right. It's not who I am as a villain. I'm a friendly neighborhood villain. Everybody knows this.
So I guess the issue is Villain's gonna come on tonight's show and he's apologizing for using bad language, but he's gonna bear false witness and lie. Okay,
why would I bear false witness?
I've known this guy for almost 15, 16 years or so. He never been a happy-go-lucky villain. Don't let them.
I've been nothing
the
but.
fact that he's saved now fool you. I know this man quite well.
It's nothing but cheer. I'm a cheerful, happy villain. Serpent with feet. You know what I mean? Like I'm here. I'm good.
Negatory Ghost Rider. I got my man Larry in the building. What's going on, my guy? How we doing, sir?
Man, the fact that it's villain and happy don't even go together, bro.
Right.
They don't even sound. That's like saying peaceful Skeletor. Like, dude, this is a villain. Dude, don't even go together. Like, come on, man. It's like when the bad guy in the story turns into the good guy at the end. Like, no, man, let the bad guy be the bad guy, man. Like, let Megatron be Megatron, man. You the villain. Own up to it.
All right, that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to be better.
I will applaud you for trying to better yourself and not use a lot of expletives and things of that nature.
Leave that to me and CK. Let me and CK hold that down, man.
Okay.
So we good, man.
Listen, Mama Jordan's not happy now. My
mama
she expects better from us. She really does.
Look, my mama knows her son, so she like, look, this is how you gonna get him, unfiltered.
I don't curse.
Hey, my mama know. I just want everybody watching our show to know that Google is free to look up QBR and know what I mean.
This guy here. Okay, hold. So this is what we're not going to do today. Hold on a second. This microphone on. So before I get to CK, we had a discussion all day today in the group thread. And I told Mr. Larry here that Google was free and that he needed to look up the statistics for one Drew Aller.
But the conversation was about completion percentage. Chandler, Chandler.
You know what? I'm not dealing with him today.
No,
what's going on, my guy? How we doing, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm just fighting with the cell phone company trying to swap my phone. Y'all know me and phones.
You know what? I mean, you got 40 of them, so I got you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, look.
But I'm keeping the same number.
Okay,
That's good.
That's good.
But
That's a start because I got like 8 numbers in my phone for you all.
I don't even know which one. Like, he hits me on
I don't
50
even say
million was, and then he calls on the WhatsApp app, and then all of a sudden he gonna hit me up on G. I mean, come on, guy.
Yeah, but he'll hit me up from a new number. Hey, it's Chandler. Can you add me to the thread? I got a new phone. I'm like, yeah, this is the third one in 2 weeks. Man.
Y'all didn't know that Chandler is the real story behind Creasy on Man of Fire.
I like unboxing new phones. Okay, I have a thing. I like unboxing new phones.
People like cats. People like sneakers. My man likes unboxing new phones.
There you go.
I ain't mad at
There
you.
you go.
Hey,
I ain't mad at you.
the life of a
I'm sure Coach will be back here in a little bit, but I wanted to start today's show off with a little bit of NFL. I don't want to do this.
Yes, you do.
I don't want to do.
It's a safe space, serious.
You know what? Michael Parsons is choosing to report to camp and participate.
Ron. Ron.
No. I'm not talking about him right now. I will get to him in a minute. But Michael Parsons is choosing to bet on himself when his extension is still in limbo. He doesn't have his deal done. Villain, talk to me, man. Where's your head up with this whole Michael Parsons thing?
So, Aaron is signed a 1-year deal to be the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. $10 million guaranteed with incentives to reach up to $19 million.
Right now. Sir, I asked you about Michael Parsons.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Michael Parsons. So he had decided to show up to camp today and start mandatory camp. And he's talking to Steelers brass about changing the offense. Talking to Mike Tomlin. He's talking to, I'm sure Lazar is in the next town over waiting for his deal to be completed. Nah, you ain't gonna get me. We'll talk about Michael Parsons in a minute. The big news that finally maybe ESPN can move on from the daily Aaron Rodgers, will he sign? This is a bad move by the Steelers. Should they go after? Like, he's signed. He's here. Thank God. We can move on. It still makes them a 500 team. You know what I mean? And that's essentially what you're looking at with Aaron Rodgers, Aaron. Good enough to get in the playoffs, not good enough to make a deep run, not good enough or not bad enough to get the quarterback that you need for the future. Just right in the middle, smack dab. Here we go.
I would disagree with that assessment.
Okay, why would you disagree?
Because they're not a 500 team with Aaron Rodgers. They'll be lucky to win
fair.
5 games. If Aaron Rodgers starts the entire season, they'll be lucky to win 5 games. Listen, miss me with what happens at the end of a season with a bad team when they play teams really don't care about them and those teams don't have a whole lot to play for, or they're playing other bad teams that don't have a lot to play for. It's easy to look good when the season is over. We see that all the time. So I just lost my whole screen. Okay. Aaron Rodgers is past washed. He's past washed. Okay. He's at Goodwill. All right. He's at Goodwill on sale for 50 cents. All right. He's trash. You're not going to win with them. Oh, and he stayed hurt last year with all these bumps and bruises. Oh, see, all this stuff is coming out now. Right? You had 2 good wide receivers. You traded one, and now you're searching for a wide receiver to pair with the wide receiver you traded for. But you had a wide receiver to pair with the wide receiver you traded for. You have an offensive coordinator who refuses to tailor his offense to the quarterback. Instead, he wants to force the quarterback to fit his offense. That offense doesn't fit Aaron Rodgers. I don't care how many gyrations and gymnastics the people on the 4-letter network do. He is not a fit. So tell me how they're going to win with a quarterback who wants to do what he wants. You got an offense coordinator who wants to do what he wants, and a head coach who's reading his press clippings and thinks, oh, I can win with anybody. Bro, this is a 5-win team.
So he said a 5-win team.
I mean, I want to not disagree with Unc, but I want to challenge that he's washed because
he's
was
washed.
he's not complete. Was his season that bad last year? Like, I
Yeah.
want to be
Yes.
honest about it. If you
Yes.
Yes.
like, so why was it that bad? Because his team didn't
Because-
win, or was his numbers bad? Because I mean,
No.
he threw for 20. Well, I mean, let's be honest. I know Sirius's favorite stat is QBR, and he was a 48 QBR. That's great, but I mean, he threw for just under 4,000 yards. He threw for 28 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. Was that really that bad? Like, was that completely
Yes,
washed?
because those were
I would have taken that for the Giants. Like,
those
you know
were
what I mean?
empty
Like,
calories. He
Okay,
amassed the
all right.
majority of that at the end of the season when the season was lost. See,
Okay.
when you do things matter. When you do things matter, right?
Yeah, ask Halliburton, right, in game 2, right?
When the season is lost
Wow.
and you start putting up numbers, does it really matter what numbers you put up at that point? It really doesn't. It really doesn't, because you're not showing me anything at that point. The season is lost. And okay, now you want to toss the ball all over the lot. Now you want to throw down the field when you're refusing to do that when the games matter. Okay? In that London game, when you had opportunities to actually make passes, you threw it at people's feet. You threw it at their feet. See, I watched him play the entire season. Unfortunately, I've been a Jet fan for over 50 years. So whether I want to or not, I watch Jet games.
The pain.
Okay? He doesn't want to get hit anymore. He's throwing the ball at people's feet. He's throwing it over their heads. He's throwing it to the left. He's throwing it to the right. And again, those last 5 games were meaningless games with meaningless stats. If you look at his entire body of work last year, he was one of the worst quarterbacks in the league.
So let me say this before I go to Larry. As much as I want to join the Aaron Rodgers is trash train, because let's keep it a buck, I've been on this network and several others that I'm affiliated with, talking about how much I do not like the fact that my squad is signing this guy. However, I will say this: culture matters, right? And the New York Jets did not cultivate a culture that was conducive to winning ball games. I've seen not as many as you, CK, as a Jets fan, but I watched my fair share of Jets games throughout the 2024 season. And it seems like they would get to the doorstep and something would take place, whether that was coaching. Keep in mind, you guys went through a coaching change, whether that was personnel, whether that was Aaron Rodgers, whether that was whatever it was, they just can't get right. And so you parlay that into what I have here in Pittsburgh. I have an offensive coordinator that is void of any type of innovation, which I think is oddly hilarious, because the reports coming out of Pittsburgh right now is the fact that the Steelers want to sign Kyle Pitts, a guy that Arthur Smith drafted and didn't know what to do with in Atlanta. But I'm gonna get to that in a minute. But he's not very innovative. I said this last year on the Steelers show that me and my dad run. This is Matt Canada 2.0. The only difference is he's down on the sideline and not up in the press box. And so for everything on the field, I wasn't a fan of Aaron Rodgers. I'm not going to talk about his off the field stuff, because that's irrelevant to him throwing the football to me at the moment. But I think this is a bad fit. I don't feel as though this makes us any better than what we were last year with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. I listened to Mike Tomlin's press conference today when he was asked about it, and all he said, honestly, was check the resume. That's all he kept saying. People kept asking him about the timing and why he's excited about Aaron Rodgers being in camp and all the things, and all he kept saying was check the resume. The last time I checked his resume, he doesn't have playoff wins. Since he, was in his prime, he's destroyed every franchise he's ever been a part of. And yet, where we as an organization are in the same position we were a year ago. And as we talked about in today's group thread, he only signed a 1-year deal. So there is no long-term future in play with Aaron Rodgers. This was a let me play with this guy, skip with this guy one last time before he retires. Mike Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers have had many a battles on many a Sunday, many a Monday, over the course of their career. The fake timeout stuff and this, that, and the third. As a matter of fact, Aaron Rodgers won his only Super Bowl versus the Steelers. So I'm saying, and Mike Tomlin, stupid Rashad Mendenhall, but I digress. And so, as the lone Steeler fan on this network, I have some clear issues with Aaron Rodgers being on my squad. But I will say this: he's a tremendous upgrade from what we currently have.
Yes.
He's
you can admit that. That's
yeah.
I think going into the season, you were in trouble.
Yeah, we were going into the season with Mason Rudolph and Will Howard, and again, Will Howard may be the second coming of Josh Allen. Who knows? But we now have a guy who's been there, done that, and if he falls on his face, he falls on his face. One thing that I do understand and love about the Steelers is that, especially under Mike Tomlin, he doesn't seem like he's afraid to push his chips in the middle and live and die with the decision. He did it last year with Justin Fields and Russ Wilson. He's done it in years past with different free agents that he's brought in, that he's looked at, kicked the tires on. But the Steelers team right now, as it's constructed, has a myriad of guys with one more year left or trying to, play one all. I'm talking about Big Play Slay, who we picked up from the Philadelphia Eagles, who's now in my secondary. Aaron Rodgers is a guy who one more year has a little left in the tank and wants to jump on and play with an organization such as Pittsburgh. We talked about it last week, and again, I'll stop talking. We talked about it last week when it pertains to the New York Knicks about the allure and the mystique that the Garden has, and how at times you're able to lure guys to come play with your organization because of the Garden. And when you look at this Aaron Rodgers thing, if you look at schematics, if you look at coaches, if you look at what's going on, this Aaron Rodgers thing doesn't fit. But it's Mike Tomlin. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's pretty much the only team that came calling, because I was for sure he was going to Minnesota. But here's where we're at. Am I happy about it? No. I'm not going to go out and buy Aaron Rodgers jersey. And heck, my name is Aaron. I'm not doing that.
Yes.
I'm going to have the messed up Aaron joint and have his face anywho.
You're going to buy it.
I'm not going to go out and do that. But do I think he can help us win ball games? Yes. Do I feel as though him being on my roster makes it a 5-win ball club? No, because culture and coaching matters. And whether we like Tomlin, hate Tomlin, he gets out of bed in the morning and gets me 9 wins.
8 to 9.
So Aaron Rodgers may be able to get me 1 or 2 more, and then it's a funny shaped ball. Let's see how it bounces. Larry, talk to me, man. Where's your head at?
Oh, man, you know what I'm going to say, bro? Every dog has his day, and Father Time is undefeated, bro. And just because Mike Tomlin has gotten you 8 and 9 wins every year don't mean it is going to keep being 8 and 9 wins. We all remember who had an excellent run. Andy Reid. You know what happened to Andy Reid in Philly? Yeah, it got real bad when Andy Reid started reading his press clippings a little bit too much. And I think that Mike Tomlin is getting to that point, bro. I agree with CK. Like, he's getting to that point because and Aaron, you get to that point too. You expect the Browns to shit the bed. Excuse me, we're trying to keep clean, my bad. I don't know, bro, because they amassing some talent over there. Baltimore, they took y'all to the wood chipper, bro. And adding a guy like D-Hop to that offense, I think y'all gonna be in for some trouble with them Ravens. And now you look at them, and do you expect the Bengals to come out the gate the way the Bengals came out the gate last year?
Probably
Maybe
not.
on defense because they ain't signed him.
Maybe because
But do you expect it?
I will say this about the Bengals. The Bengals have started slow each of the last 3 years.
But you know what I'm gonna tell you this, and this is just me, bro.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers had that clip for the longest of the baddest man. You know who the baddest man is right now?
Mahomes.
Joe Burrow.
No, Joe Burrow.
Joe
Joe
Burrow.
Burrow's
Even
that bad.
Mahomes don't want to see Joe Burrow with that ball in his hand.
No,
Joe Cool,
he'll want to see Josh Allen. He'll want to see the MVP.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, Deshaun and all these whoever you want to put up there, but not Joe Burrow.
Because just like you see Patrick Mahomes, he know that Joe Burrow not gonna make that critical mistake for them to come back and win the game. Joe Burrow's gonna make that throw to win, bro. Right. If it wasn't for that defense, dude, they would have easily been 10 to 12 wins last year, easily. Mm-hmm. Like, dude. So I don't see when I look at the division as a whole. I think at some point, you know, the what did it say? The chicken's gonna come on the roost for Mike Tomlin, and it's getting real close to that because I don't see this as a fit. Y'all know me. I'm a Niners fan. There's Niners in the background. You know which offense Aaron Rodgers grew up in. He's been accustomed to playing his entire career.
Well, who mentioned it today?
West Coast. Yeah, Shanahan. West Coast offense. That's what he's been in. That's what he tried to. That's why he was okay with going to the Jets because they had people that came off the Niners staff over there. He was okay with that. He could bring in his own players. Arthur Smith does not run a West Coast offense. We've been on this show many times, and what you said, the Steelers will fire Mike Tomlin before they run a West Coast offense. That is not going to happen. They're like, no, we're going to ground and pound. We're going to run the ball. We're going to keep bludgeoning you in the head like it's 1978. They are not going to run that. And the fact that it's already came out that said Aaron Rodgers has said, I think we need to make some changes to this offense. I think we need to do this. It's all the recipes for disaster.
Yeah.
At this point in his career, now I'm not as critical as him as CK because you know what I'm gonna say about Aaron Rodgers. Every quarterback has went through this, including Kirk Cousins, and the list goes on and on. It takes about a good year to recuperate from that Achilles, and I don't think he was fully healthy those first couple of games. You know, you got to plant to throw. The tail end, I saw him being better. But when I'm looking at this Steelers team, and they were actually, y'all say what you want to say. I feel like they were better with the line issues with a mobile quarterback, with somebody who can move around. At this point, Aaron Rodgers is a damn statue back there, bro.
Yeah, he's a statue.
Unless this is a revamped offensive line that we just not going to see any holes, Broderick Jones going to get that dude killed. I'm just being he gonna fuck around here again. Hey, and like I say, man, I don't see this working out as a positive. I do say this. It's a band-aid. That's why he signed a 1-year deal. And it's
that's
a band-aid.
That's the bothers me about this though, bro. Like, I don't want to cut you off real quick, but like we are going to be in the same damn position next year that we're in this year. Regardless, like Aaron Rodgers can go out and we could win the Super Bowl. We can be Super Bowl champs. Confetti could be falling the whole nine. I will be uncontrollable. Y'all know that. And then next year we're gonna be in the same position because we don't know who the quarterback of 2026 is gonna be. We did re-sign Mason Rudolph to a 2-year deal, but that's essentially gonna turn into a 1-year deal. So maybe or maybe not. We drafted Will Howard this past year in the 6th round and whatnot. And so what do we do? You know what I'm saying? What sparked the conversation we had earlier today. Like
y'all not gonna swing the fence, bro. The Steelers are not gonna do that. Like I'm just talking about my Niners. Regardless of what happened with Trey Lance, we swung the fence, bro. The Steelers are not gonna swing the fence and say, you know what, we need to move up to the top 2 pick. But
see that's where I'm gonna push back on it because as we currently sit here, and again, I mentioned this today in the group thread, as we currently sit here, we have 13 picks going into next year. And the draft is in Pittsburgh. Okay, the only reason why, in my honest opinion, that we acquired the picks like we did, like we're the freaking Patriots of the NFL or Sam Presti of the NBA, is to maneuver the board how we see it, with the draft being in our own backyard.
Okay, so let's just say hypothetically, bro. Let's just say Manning goes back, and like you say, Drew Allen is sitting there, and Drew Allen is expected to be top 3 pick. When was the last time the Steelers traded into the top 10?
Anything.
We never had. We never had to because it all fell to us. We never.
When have they ever moved into the top 10 to go get a player that they wanted?
Yeah, you never did.
Never.
We did that with Devin Bush, and it bit us in the butt.
But it wasn't top 10
for a quarterback though.
No, we haven't done that since Terry Bradshaw.
You're not going to get one of the top quarterback talents unless you're moving into the top maybe 5.
The only time that you guys had a late pick and you passed, and Unc can tell you too, is when Dan Marino was in your lap and you passed on him.
You passed on him, correct?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So but you won't ever find an elite, game-changing, transcendent quarterback fall to you that late ever again. Like, it doesn't happen. Like, Lamar Jackson doesn't come around.
I get it. But see, here's what I tried to tell you guys this afternoon. We are sitting here talking about this like everybody that's picking in the top 10 is going to need a quarterback, and that's not the case.
No,
let's say we finish for us. Let's say we finish in the top 12. Okay, so that would mean losing season, all the things. Okay, we're in the top 12. Okay, do you mean to tell me that we want to use the plethora of picks and draft capital and possibly players that we have to move ahead of, let's say, the Jets?
You're the main one who always tell us about the Steelers are always going to do things the Steelers way, and they've never done it.
That is very, very true. However,
they refuse to get out of doing Steelers stuff.
This is the first time in the history that I can remember that the draft will be in Pittsburgh. This is the first time in a long time that the Steelers going into the draft, again, things can change between now and then, that we have double-digit picks in the draft. This is the first time in a long time that we do not technically have the ability, as we're currently going into 2025, 2026, a quarterback that is under contract for more than multiple years.
A leopard don't change his stripes. You're still sat there and drafted over and over and over and could have had Shadua. They could have traded in the 5th round and got back in and got him, and they still sat there and watched, because that's the Steelers' way. The Steelers' way is we're going to stick to our draft board. We're going to draft the guys that we want. If a quarterback falls in our lap, then we're fine with that, but we're not going to, quote unquote, make the move to get the player that we want. And right now, I think it's going to be one of those things where you're going to be in this, quote unquote, I'm going to say not mediocrity, but competitive, but not where Steeler fans want them to be at. Steeler fans want them to be in Super Bowl contention.
So what?
They want them to be in Super Bowl contention.
Correct. That is a standard.
And that's what they want. And unless you solidify that quarterback position, we all know, regardless of what nobody say, quarterbacks make or break you, bro. And if you don't have solid to elite level quarterback play, you're not gonna get past the Buffaloes. You're not gonna get dude. I mean, we being honest and we keep it in the buck, bro. Dude, the Bengals have been to a Super Bowl more recently than the Steelers, bro.
That is very correct.
And it's based solely off of quarterback play, point blank. Yep. That's it. Joe Burrow. I'm not going to take nothing away from Jamar Chase and all of the players on their team because it's a team game. But you could see Joe Burrow willing them to the Super Bowl. Dude, that game in Buffalo, that was a Joe Burrow went out in the snow and won that game, bro. That was
beat
Joe
Kansas
Burrow.
City. That was
he beat Kansas City that year twice.
Remember,
what else?
Buffalo first. Then he had to go beat KC in KC.
Right.
Like,
But what I'll say, LG, to your point, is the Giants were very much in that Steeler way too, where they didn't make any moves. They stayed pat. They stuck to the board, stuck to their pick, and wouldn't make drastic trades. They might trade back in a later round, do a little cut, but like when they made the move for Eli Manning, that changed the direction of the franchise. And Monk remembers that too. And that was something that the Giants would never have done in their past, and they did it, and it netted 2 Super Bowls. Say what you want, he may not be a first ballot Hall of Famer, all that good stuff, but with him, we went to the playoffs, we won 2 Super Bowls. I don't know if the Steelers are in that state of mind, but I certainly hope they would be, because that's what it's going to take for me, because they're not going to be – I don't agree that they're going to be a 5-win team. I don't think they'll be in the top 10. I feel like they'll be in the 10 to 20 range, where they're good enough just to make the playoffs, but not good enough to win.
Kind of where we've been, bro.
Yeah, and so they'll have to make that drastic move, and will they have the courage to do it?
They'll be competitive, but how far is that going to get you? In the AFC is like an arms race right now. It literally is becoming an arms race. And if you're not willing to sit back and say, you know what did he say? Do we have a problem? When you got that right there on your finger, that's when you know that you're really trying to go after a Super Bowl. And so far, the Steelers for the last couple of years, they're not willing to put that trigger in their hand and pull that trigger to put them in that position.
We've been using washed up old veteran quarterbacks to try to patchwork an issue that has been an issue since Seven retired.
Yeah.
And the one time that we tried to make the pick for a quarterback, we drafted Kenny Pickett, and we all understand how pitiful that was. And the thing is, to your point, I kind of know where you're going with this.
Yeah.
I wonder, I said this to my dad the other day before he left. I wonder if Kenny Pickett was so bad, or he was a victim of a bad offensive scheme under Matt Canada.
Yep. It might
have been a little bit of both, but I look at it like this too. Look at a team in your own conference that tried to do the same thing for years in the Indianapolis Colts. Always tried to get the veteran quarterback. They had a good team built. They had the running back. They had the offensive line. They had a decent, actually a pretty good defense in Indianapolis. And they thought, I can get a veteran quarterback for 1 year and try to put it together. And it never, that curl never went over.
Hey.
Right? So like Larry, who did they try in Indianapolis? Right? They tried Flacco.
It was Matt Ryan. It was Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz. They had Flacco for a year.
They had Flacco there for a while, and now they rolled out and running with your boy Daniel Jones.
Yeah, and they're still trying to do it, and it's still not going to work. So, I just you don't want to get into that habit, man. I feel like the Steelers and the Colts are very similar. Good defenses, the offensive line, not a lot to be desired, but you could win with it. You think you could win with a veteran quarterback and a really strong defense, and it's not working. You know what I mean?
I have a question. Why did the Steelers lose their last 5 games?
Defense.
No.
Defense.
Well, that's part of it.
No.
That was part of it.
Run.
Yeah, they couldn't
run.
But what was the other part?
We couldn't score.
And why couldn't you score?
Because our offense sucked.
Because your offensive coordinator decided that he was tired of the quarterback who was scoring 30 points a game, changing his terrible play calls at the line of scrimmage, and said, no longer change my play calls. And suddenly you guys couldn't score. Okay? Mm-hmm. And now you're telling me that this person, okay, who should wear a red nose that honks, okay, and big oversized shoes.
Whether someone should wear a red nose that honks depends entirely.
New phone.
Now he's going to allow Aaron Rodgers, who's never met a play that he didn't want to change at the line of scrimmage, by the way, to do that. See, this is why I'm saying 5-win team. It's not about talent. Somebody said it earlier. It's about fit. This is square peg,
Round
hexagonal hole. All right.
Yeah, right.
It's actually hexagonal.
Yeah,
Now this is
Yeah,
space
you know, I hate
sprocket
those words.
and
But-
what was the other?
And that's the problem. So, and again, yeah, you got DK Metcalf, but if Aaron Rodgers don't throw him the ball, we know DK Metcalf's not going to be happy. We know the running game right now is iffy. Oh, and by the way, the defense that everybody keeps talking about, this defense, that defense was hot garbage last year.
It was so bad.
So
It was so
if the defense isn't any better, and I don't see how it is, because I don't see many upgrades, along with the fact that TJ Watt is holding out. And if he holds out through training camp and then comes back, we all know soft tissue injuries coming because TJ Watt gets hurt anyway. And when TJ Watt doesn't play, the Steelers don't win. Tell me how this is a better team this year. And then let's go into the draft. We had this conversation. Not one of the quarterbacks coming out, not named Arch Manning, is better than any of the quarterbacks that are in this draft. And all I heard was this was a terrible draft for quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, I asked. I would love to ask on like, who caves first? Is it is it Arthur, the OC or whatever, or
Arthur
is it?
Smith?
Aaron,
I don't think
or is
either
it
one
Aaron
of them
Rodgers?
caves, bro.
See,
Neither one of them's gonna cave.
That's the thing. Like, I think this is going to be a power struggle all year.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's a problem.
And the issue that I think is gonna rear its ugly head is kind of what we dealt with Russell Wilson last year. We were scoring 34 points a game for the first time in a long time. And because Russell was going up there changing play, doing this, that, and the third, and now we struggled to move the football. A lot of that had to do with bad offensive line play. A lot of that had to do with, Pickens, quitting on the team and not running his routes and lack of talent on the outside. And again, all we did was move DK into Pickens spot, and we still need a new wide receiver too.
Right.
So we still have that issue to address, which is what I've been beating the drum for the past 2.5 years. But I digress.
Hey, serious, I'm gonna say this, right? And this, like I said, we outsiders, right? We're outsiders looking in, right? So you're a Steelers fan, so you're gonna give your Steeler perspective. We're giving you outsiders, just like if y'all talking about my Niners, y'all gonna give me an outsider's perspective, and I'm gonna be like, okay, this is what I'm looking at from my team, right?
Right.
This is where I agree with you. I think it's gonna be some power struggles, and we don't know what's gonna play out at the end of the season, dude. It is killing me watching the team because I love Mike Tomlin, bro. I want to see Mike Tomlin succeed against everybody except for the Texans and the 49ers. But it's so much dysfunction going over there. They literally were talking about trading for Jonnu Smith when they literally got Brett Favre moved and Darnell Washington refused to put on the field together. Are you going to run a 3 tight end set? They were literally in negotiations to trade for another tight end when you
Let's
don't
not forget Kyle Pitts. Let's throw Kyle Pitts into that thing too.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's throw him in there.
So what offense have ran 3 tight ends except for goal line?
Arthur Smith offense in Tennessee when they had Ryan Tannehill.
Yep,
Patriots.
Three
yeah, Patriots.
No,
They ran 2 tight.
No, they ran
Yeah.
You can, and they have 2 really good tight ends. Remember, I fussed all last season. I kept saying, why do they only have Brett Favre move on the field with Darnell Washington off? And Darnell Washington, when he comes on, this dude can actually catch and he's blocking. Why? Why are you not running more 2 tight end sets with 2 really good tight ends?
It's so simple because when you run a 2 tight end set, it's a what? It's a 1 back to 1 receiver or what? But it's usually a big package that you have to bring in a linebacker. You have to bring in a 3rd linebacker, a 4th linebacker. Where does that? That's a matchup nightmare. It's very simple.
Yes,
especially if you put one on Pat Fry move, and you know what? And I'm gonna tell you this, and this is how much dysfunction is going on over there. Y'all may not believe me. You gotta watch. You cannot do 3 steps with Russ. They never did in Seattle. He would always do rollouts, or he would do 7, 8 step drops because he's short. I keep saying that he's short. He cannot see over.
He's got to get away from the line.
He got to get away from the line. What helps out a short quarterback? Tight ends. Tight ends will help him out. They will open it up. They will see he can see him quicker if you're rolling him out or you having him drop back further. They refuse to even do any of that, and that's really why they were really winning when he was improvising. That's Russ's strength, improvisation. That is Russell's bread and potato. You cannot turn Russ into a pocket passer. He's not that guy.
That's why when I was watching Killer of Killers on Hulu, that new Predator movie, I was thinking that same thing that you just said. Yeah, I'm gonna work that in every time because that movie's great. Yeah, everybody needs to go watch it.
It is, man. But yeah, dude, like I said, that's to let you know how much dysfunction is going on over there, and it makes you wonder, like, why are you trying to get a third tight end when you don't even use the two that you got? Or like, why are you not trying to resolve for that second receiver? Why are you not trying to resolve from, getting out of this archaic offense that people know what you're running 3 plays ahead of time?
But this goes out of that. Why I keep saying, and I know it's blasphemy, that I think Mike Tomlin needs to go somewhere else. I think Mike Tomlin has bought into the myth of Mike Tomlin. I think he's bought into the myth of Mike Tomlin that I'm Mike Tomlin. And Mike Tomlin, in his head, I think he's talking in third person. Mike Tomlin can win with any quarterback. Mike Tomlin's great. Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season. I think he's bought into that. Well, and that's a bad place to be because we've seen coaches do that. We've seen that. We've seen it with Parcells. We've seen it with Belichick. We saw it with Marty Schottenheimer. We saw it with Joe Gibbs. Joe Gibbs bought into the Joe Gibbs can win with any quarterback until eventually Joe Gibbs had bums in Washington. Remember the end of the Joe Gibbs era? Look at some of the quarterbacks he had, bro. Look at some of the quarterbacks he had at the end.
I mean, but if you win with Mark Rippon, I think you get a little credit, right?
I understand, but towards the end, he was pulling people out the stands. I'm Joe Gibbs. I can win with anybody. That's not how it works anymore, bro.
Hey, CK, I hate to say it like that, but man, you falling into that Jerry Jones state, and I would hate to see the Steelers end up like the Cowboys. Like I say, you just competitive enough to get headlines and maybe win a couple games.
For the past how many years?
That's where they were with near the end of. I mean, most of Romo's career, but near the end too, right? Like they were a 500 team. They were always 8-8. Get in, try to get into the playoffs the last week or two of the season. Don't get in, or they barely get in, and they couldn't get over the hump. They couldn't do anything.
Been that way with Dak. I know they've won a division, but what have they done in the playoffs?
But this is where I'm going with this. That's because you see these owners, right? And these owners, they're like, "Oh no, I want a coach that's going to run the ball and pound and ground." And you know how Jerry is. He wants the headlines. He wants the guys. And if you notice, let's go back the last 20 years. The organizations that have been winning are the organizations that say, you know what, this is how we used to do it, but we're not doing it that way no more. Yeah, let's get some new, fresh faces in there. Let's get some people in there. Let's figure the Eagles, bro. Dude, look at the Eagles right now, bro. The Eagles are like, you know what? The Eagles have had basically 3 iterations of themselves within the last 5 seasons. We can't keep rolling out the same thing over and over again. We gotta do a reset. We gotta come out with something fresh, something new. And like I said, you see Jerry Jones. If you look at a Cowboys team last year, the year before, you know what they look like? They look like every team since Jimmy Johnson has left. They look like every team since
average.
Yeah. And it's like, Jerry, you need like some offensive linemen. Why don't you get some offensive linemen? No, I want this receiver that runs a 4.2. Right. No, who's gonna block for him? Who's gonna throw him the ball? Yeah, no. Jerry.
That's Al Davis. That's the Al Davis myth. For the Raiders. We gotta have a big quarterback with a strong arm, and we gotta have fast receivers to run down the field.
Nobody to block.
And the worst part of this whole thing is they have a quarterback of the future right now on the roster. His name is Will Howard. He just needs some development. Yes, he was an Ohio State quarterback. The problem with Ohio State quarterbacks isn't that they aren't good. It's that they're brought in and they're expected to be good right away instead of people understanding that they need to they're actually projects and they need a couple years. But if the Steelers flop this year, right? Let's say I'm right, they win 5 games. They are not going to give Will Howard a chance. They're going to go in the draft because they'll have a top 5 pick and going to pick one of these guys that's coming out who shouldn't be a first-round pick. They're going to draft him. Will Howard's not going to get a chance. And then we start in this merry-go-round again of mediocre quarterbacks. At some point, and trust me, this is coming from a dude that's seen mediocre quarterbacks for the past 20-some-odd years. Okay?
Man, wait a minute. Chad Pennington, man.
Chad was good.
It was
Okay?
good, man.
Chad was the
Put
best
some
of the
respect
bad
on
boys.
Chad's
Yeah.
name. We like Chad.
So they have to. The Steelers. Mike Tomlin has to go. The only way this changes for Pittsburgh is Mike Tomlin has to leave because Mike Tomlin is not willing to adjust or evolve. And I'm not saying I'm not knocking Mike Tomlin. I'm not saying he's not a great coach. I'm not saying any of that. But sometimes relationships, okay? You have a friendship for 30 years. You guys grow apart. At a certain point, the friendship has to change. Maybe you got to move on from each other. Maybe you're just friendly now instead of friends. Something's got to change with Mike Tomlin. So if he's not willing to evolve, then maybe Pittsburgh needs to move on.
I mean, I'll leave it at this, and I know we want to get into some other stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think it's. I think Tomlin needs a change of scenery more than the Steelers need a change in coach. I feel like he's kind of not maxed out his potential in Pittsburgh or anything like that. But I think what we were talking about last year, it's just like I feel like, you know, you mentioned it earlier, LG. Like Andy Reid needed to leave Philly and go to Kansas City, and that didn't hurt him at all. And
it made him evolve. It made him evolve.
Yeah, and you know, honestly, it's like if Tomlin can't find the quarterback of the future, just like Philly couldn't find the quarterback of the future.
It also helps that you get the best quarterback in modern football.
Well, but you know what?
He wasn't the top pick
before he got
home. Exactly. He was
the
a number 10 pick. He was winning with Alex Smith, and then you know this kid fell into his lap. Buffalo traded him for him. Buffalo signed their own death
swung for the fence to go get him. They made the move
exactly. Yes. But you know what? Like Andy Reid wasn't able to find that quarterback in Philly. Who was he running out there in Philly towards the end after they lost McNabb? They had
Mike Vick for a little bit, and they brought in the other guy.
They had Detmer, right, or something like that.
I think Todd Della was before.
It was I forgot his name, but it was another guy. I can't remember who it was.
I can't remember. Any of my lame loser Philadelphia Eagle fans.
But that proves your point, Barry. We can't even remember who it was. That proves your point.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. Like I don't think it's on the Pittsburgh side. I don't think it's Tomlin being stubborn or stuck in his ways or not being able to do X. I think he needs a change of scenery. I think he's still a good coach. I think he can coach in this league. I think he has a lot to offer the leag. But it doesn't hurt to have a change of scenery. So, but in the meantime, it is what it is in Pittsburgh.
Yep.
But you know what? Hey, I'm gonna chime in on this, Barry. And serious, you might not want to hear this. I'm agree with Barry. I think Tomlin needs to leave because you got to remember, Tomlin, he's not an offensive guy. He's a special teams coordinator. Special teams guy. That's where he made his bones at, right? And Tomlin needs to go somewhere that an organization that is like, you know what, we know where your bones is at, right? We're gonna get you this really good coordinator. Let him run the offense. That's not your thing. You manage the game, you call a timeout, you do what you need to do, but you need a coordinator who's gonna revamp this offense, right?
He needs Bobby Petrino.
Because
he needs Bobby Petrino.
Well, he needs anybody that can run a offense, just like Dan Campbell's teams wasn't that good because Dan Campbell killed before. Dan Campbell needed Ben Johnson, just like regardless of nobody say Andy Reid needed Bieniemy. Like sometimes a coach, like you say, they need that fresh young guy to reinvigorate them into coaching again, but they also need that new guy who can run that offense for them. But at the same time, Mike Tomlin needs to be with an organization like. Hey, people give Andy Reid a lot of credit, but what's his name? Dimitrov or whatever the guy name is.
Dimitrov,
yeah. That dude drafts his ass off, just like in Philly, bro. Howie Roseman, he drafts his ass off. I think Mike Tomlin, he's handicapped a little bit because of the GM and the way the organization wants to do things.
It's not
Like,
Omar Khan. I can speak for to that. It's not Omar Khan.
so you trying to tell me that
I think honestly you might be
because the GM runs the draft,
huh?
your GM runs the draft unless your owner steps in.
And this, I mean, coach, you know, is right. You know, what I'm saying, hopefully, you know, pops in here when they can. But coach is right. He was the defensive coordinator in Minnesota, and before he got a job in Pittsburgh. Let's keep it a buck. Nobody knew who Mike Tomlin was before he got a job in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but I'm saying if that's what he's. It's like D'Amico. D'Amico don't run the Texans offense. D'Amico sticks to the defense. He manages the game, but he don't run that offense. He lets them do whatever they need to do on offense. And if it's running the way that he sees that it should be running, he stay up out of that. He don't get into that because that's not his specialty. But Mike Tomlin also needs somebody from a GM perspective to say, look, let me get you what you need. Let me get you what you, because I'll go even further. And serious, you probably was ready to pull whatever hat you got underneath that hat. It wasn't even the fact that the Steelers passed on Shador. It was round after round after round that they were passing on a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't view Shador Sanders as,
even if you didn't view him, even the Giants moved back in to go get Jackson Dart.
mm-hmm.
Like even the Saints took Tyler Shook. Even if you did not say Shador is our guy, how do you keep passing up on a position of need over and over and over?
Because they felt that Will Howard was the guy. And again, I can't sit here and justify the moves as if I was in the room when they made them. All I can do is go by what was said and how.
Yeah, we're outsiders, but
all I can do is go by what was said and how they have moved since. And to what I am seeing and hearing, they had Will Howard graded exceptionally high. And they also knew that Will Howard would be available to them where they drafted him. And so if they didn't think Shador Sanders was their guy, I don't want you to kind of pick him just because you need to fill a position. If he wasn't your guy, if you didn't have a game plan for him, by all means, press on. I'm upset that he's in the division. I'm upset that we're going to have to see this guy, 2, possibly 3 times.
I'll go even further. If Will Howard's your guy, I don't take a chance on him falling in the 5th. I take him in the 4th. I take him around early.
That's the thing. That's why, again, not trying to be disrespectful. That's why they sit in those GMTs because they knew he would be there.
I'm not taking a chance with somebody else drafting my guy.
Okay.
And I know that's an area of need that I
don't think anybody had Will Howard on their list. I don't think anybody had him on their list.
And again, I have an understanding of how it works to a certain extent. Like, for example, we sit here on this show and talk about, if you have no desire to hire said person, whether he be black, white, blue, green, and purple, then don't bring him in to check a box. The Pittsburgh Steelers had no intention on doing business with Shador Sanders for whatever reason. So the fact that the Steelers passed on him as frequently as he did to get to the guy they wanted to do business with, I can't falter for that. Now, was it a mistake passing on Shador? Time will tell. Was it a mistake drafting Will Howard? Time will tell, but I can't just say, this is the area of need.
This is only a mistake.
But this is where I'm going to go, right?
But to your point, CK, I got you. And again, I'm with you on that too. And again, I think in a roundabout way, we're coming full circle. Like, I want to see what we have in Will Howard. However, the way the Steelers are currently structured, if Aaron Rodgers and this experiment goes south, which is very, very possible, the heir apparent to Aaron Rodgers is not Will Howard, is Mason Rudolph.
And that's a problem.
And that's a major problem.
Yeah. I mean, serious, this is what I was saying, dude. It's just like I said, they acting like the Cowboys, dude. The Cowboys couldn't stop a middle school team from running up the middle. And what they've been consistently doing.
We addressed that.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's like, Jerry, you need defensive tackles. You need big defensive tackles. Oh, it's a defensive tackle sitting on the board. You know what I want? Let me go draft this safety. let me go draft this wide receiver. It's like, Jerry, you cannot stop the run.
I will say this though. Again, to your analogy. Okay. This is a discussion and a conversation that needs to be had a couple years from now when we find out what the hell we're getting out of Will
Yeah,
Howard.
and serious, I'll go even further, and I'm this is gonna be my final take on this. We can move on because I gotta piss him off even further. This is why I don't think that this is all Mike Tomlin, and I think he need to be somewhere else to really see what he's really fully capable of. Because we've been on this show, and I watch your Steelers show, and what if you guys been saying they need a number 2? They need a number 2. What did the Steelers do in the draft? We'll draft the Michigan receiver in the third.
About that one. I ain't gonna hold you.
In the third round, when we passed on receiver. Okay, we needed a number 2. We got 2 primary studs now. What do? We trade one away, dude.
I'm so mad at that.
It doesn't make any sense, and like I said, I'm quite sure Mike Tomlin has a lot of control in the room, but the GM makes the trades. The GM runs the draft. Is it the GM hindering Mike Tomlin?
No, because I understand how they work. Like, I think you're more on board with Mike Tomlin needing another change of scenery than we have, and trying to say Omar Khan is bad for Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin will probably be the one to go somewhere else.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's probably not a bad fit because, like you said, you were literally about to lose it.
It was the same way with Kevin Colbert. When Kevin Colbert was there, the way Mike Tomlin and Kevin Colbert worked is the same way that Mike Tomlin and Omar Khan is working now. The difference is, Kevin Colbert worked with us enough that he got us 2 Super Bowls, and Omar Khan seems to be content with just
making the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, think about it, dude. Like I said, just like with that defensive tackle, if I know I need another 2 receiver, why am I passing on receivers over and over? Why am I keep trying to, piecemeal this stuff?
That aspect of things ticks me off, and now we're still linked to every wide receiver imaginable. But we've been talking about the Steelers for an hour, and my head hurts. So we won't move.
Hey, Ron. Hey, let me know what this TJ contract looked like at $13.5 million. I will. Before we move, man, Coach is finally digresses with his presence. What's going on, Coach? How we doing, sir? Man, that dude ain't signing for no less than $35 million.
Yeah.
Talk to me, Coach. What's going on, big guy?
No, I'll let Larry finish.
No, I'm done.
No, we good. It's been an hour, bro. It's been an hour. That's probably why you ain't coming on the show, because we were talking.
Yeah, we get ready to kill the Cowboys and then the Bears.
The Bears.
Be my guest. Don't give a shit.
Hey, listen.
Oh no, we about to kill the cow. Oh
no. But hey, listen, my mom. If you were on the show earlier, I told you my mother is not happy with our language. She's not. You didn't have to talk to her on the phone, Coach. You didn't have to talk to her on the phone.
I am sorry.
Parental discretion advised.
I don't know. But I mean, I guess yes. We just.
No, but seriously, we were talking about it in the chat, Coach, right? And how ridiculous it is that Micah Parsons is deciding to go to minicamp without a new deal. There's no way I even look at the field without a new deal.
No, I would forget what a football field looked like.
Yeah.
I mean, stop playing that. And just...
Yeah. Like there's no way that I'm going onto the field risking any kind of injury or anything until that ink is dry.
Yep.
And
I would, because Jerry's going to cave. Jerry's going to cave, and he know that.
Jerry is a fool, because Jerry is going to drag this out. Yesterday's price isn't tomorrow's price. You keep dragging this out, the more money this guy is going to command. Like, when is he going to learn that this doesn't work?
He did it with CeeDee Lamb. He did it with Zeke. He did it with
CeeDee Lamb. He did it with Dak Prescott.
He's done it with all of his stars.
It doesn't work. You're just overpaying for these guys, and then now you think you're a genius because you're restructuring people's deal, kicking the can down the road, putting money into like a signing bonus but you're just making your cap hell worse down the line because you didn't sign these guys early and create more cap space down. It's just a backwards way of doing it, but nobody else can run the Cowboys like I can run the Cowboys.
Man,
You know what I mean?
when an underperforming, widely viewed underperforming player from Texas A&M is smart enough to not get on the field because of the language in the contract where he already knows how much money he's going to get, and he's smart enough to not get on the field, I don't want to hear nothing else from Micah Parsons ever again. I don't want to hear nothing about leadership. I don't want to hear nothing from you, bro. Nothing at all. Because you sitting up there basically being a clown. Oh, I'm going to come to mini camp and then, okay, tear up your leg, bro. Tear up your leg and see if Jerry takes care of you. Because these owners, bro, I say this all the time.
Dak
These
after
football
ACL.
players are cowards.
But how long did it take him to take care of Dak?
Larry. After ACL, though, he still paid Dak.
How long did it take him? How long did it take him?
But
he strung that out for him.
He had
going
no
up.
choice. He
That
paid
price
Dak
kept
because he
going
had
up
no
too.
other quarterback. You can listen, you might not be able to find somebody as good as Parsons, but you can find another guy to play that position.
A piece.
What was the name of that guy that played with the Niners last year that walked off? He'll go play with the Cowboys.
Mm-hmm. Who was
Don't
it?
get me started about that dude. PG, man. PG.
Greenlaw, right?
Man.
Was
PG.
it Greenlaw?
Coach out.
But like honestly, like my older brother is a lifelong Cowboys fan, and he can't wait to try to trade Micah Parsons away. And yeah, I mean, and it's a lot of the reasons that I've talked about, right? It's the fact that he is a really good player, but he's more interested in his, Tuesday podcast than, getting real W's in the column, right? And a lot of it's about putting the star on than it is actually playing. You know what I mean? And he would love to trade him and get value for him, and like, let something happen to him, like Unc said, like tear up his knee or something, then that value goes down. And now you're stuck if you're Jerry Jones. And I wish for it. I pray for it. I want it to happen more than anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If I can jump in here real quick, and we talked about Michael Parsons before. Is like, this is a guy, and I said it months ago, and I say it again. This is a guy who is more in love with being famous than he is with football. Okay.
At this point,
and that is a bad combination, because why does he go to minicamp? Because he probably honestly feels, because we know this. He's not the smartest guy. We all know that. Okay. All right. So he probably feels though like, hey, if football don't work out, I got my podcast. I got my podcast and my Penn State education. I'm good. So it's just like, but he wants to be famous, because it's like he can still be famous with the podcast or whatever he does and streaming and stuff like that. It's like, he is one of these guys where, again, and then when you're playing for the Cowboys, as much as we joke and laugh about the Cowboys are a brand. We talked about this a while ago. The Cowboys are a brand. So as long as when he does decide to play football, he can he wears that star on the side of his helmet, that increases his brand recognition, because like, he's the guy that plays for the Cowboys. Now, if he gets traded to the Seahawks, and look, no disrespect to my Seahawks fans out there, but it's like, nobody really cares. Then he would have to get it done on the field for people to notice.
Right.
But as long as he's just the guy on the Cowboys, it will generate the attention and it generate the views and things like that he wants. So, like, again, I say all that to say this: Michael Parsons is a fantastic football player. I just wish, and I'm sure Cowboys fans would wish, and I know Barry would love for him to continue to be distracted. But it's like, it's like, my guy. It's like, just concentrate on the things you can control. And just me personally, with everything in flux of this contract, I would not get on the field.
Absolutely not.
I just wouldn't. And it's people who will say, "Oh well, I get up and I go to work every day." You know what? Look, nobody's paying tickets to watch me fill prescriptions at the pharmacy. Okay, nobody's buying. No, you know, what I'm saying? Nobody's, nobody's, doing it. Like I said, I mean, it's like so the person's like, oh, well, I get up, go to work, and I don't make. You're like, no, because it's like, no, these guys are special athletes, and they're in the 1% of 1% of people on Earth what they can do on a football field or a basketball field or a baseball, whatever like that. It's just what like
You're
to piggyback on what Barry said. It's like, but this is what Jerry Jones does.
Yes.
He waits, he waits, he waits, he waits, and there's a point to where it's like, okay, Jerry, you should probably do this now, and then he waits after that point to then be like, oh well, Dak's leg almost fell off. I should probably pay him now.
But it's
Yeah.
always when there's a lull in the news cycle. Also,
Yeah,
when
true.
there's a lull in the news cycle, when there's nothing else going on, then Jerry does something because now we got to talk about them for 2 weeks. You know
Well,
what
yeah, I mean, again, I say it all the time. It's like, name how many owners have their own radio segment every week.
Not many. Not
Not-
many.
not-
just
not
Jerry
many.
Jones.
One.
And you
Only
better
one.
ask him the right questions too. I mean,
Yeah.
I know growing up, I know you didn't want to play double dutch with Jerry Jones because he'd just stand there.
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
When
yeah.
you going to jump in? When you going to jump in? Because it's like, honestly, with Micah Parsons, you're trying to create. You asked for the new contract. You said you wanted to get a new deal done. And now you're trying to create urgency, but you're not creating that urgency to get a deal done by showing up to minicamp.
No.
You're not doing that. You're not putting the Cowboys in a situation. I mean, say what we want about TJ Watt or who's the receiver from Washington that not showing up. Terry McLaurin, right?
Terry McLaurin is a new deal. Trey Henderson from the Bengals and TJ Watt, all not that many camp.
All of them are not showing up to camp, and that's your power move. That's the move that you can make to create that urgency to say, hey, I'm here. I want a new deal. I want to get something done. Micah Parsons showing up is like, we'll get it done when we feel like it.
And that also undercuts your union, which we see them do all the time. They undercut your union. That's so again, these guys don't think. It's a brotherhood. Yeah, it's a brotherhood until you want to screw over the next guy. Then it's no longer a brotherhood.
Right.
Because by you showing up, you're screwing over other people in that same union. By the way, the same union that's helping the NFL hide the results of the antitrust lawsuit. That same NFLPA. I mean, because the NFLPA won that antitrust law, the collusion antitrust lawsuit, they won it, and they won't talk about what the verdict was, or the payout, or anything else. No one, they've gone radio silent on it. Between these players and the union, is it any wonder why guys keep getting screwed over on contracts? Is it any wonder that they don't have lifetime medical? I get so sick and tired of hearing football like, it's a brotherhood. No, it's not. Y'all don't give a damn about each other. Y'all really don't. You really don't. Because you know what? Joe Burrow made sure his 2 receivers got paid. How come you didn't make sure Trey Henderson got paid, bro? I'm just asking the question. You came out and said, hey, I need these receivers paid. What happened to Trey Hendrickson? Ain't he on your team? Ain't he in the locker room? Ain't he part of the brotherhood?
He has terrible hands. Can't catch.
He plays on the other side of the ball.
Can't catch cold.
Yeah.
Dude, hey, look, I'm gonna go even further, y'all. I'm gonna quote my boys from H-Town, man. Ain't no 401k for a hustler. Hey, I'm just being for real, bro. Hey, look, this is the thing about the NFL players, bro. Y'all remember doing like the strike and all this stuff and doing COVID? Did you see NBA players saying we need unemployment? No. Did you see MLB players saying we need unemployment? No. Do you not know that the NFL players are literally, most of them live paycheck to paycheck. If they're not playing, they're not getting paid.
But they got a gospel hymn, though, bro. Don't forget they got the gospel hymn.
The shield. Hey, and it's crazy to me that they literally are the one league that they can't even strike because they're folding. They can't even, because their contracts are structured in a way. If you notice now, these NFL contracts, they say guaranteed, but it's guaranteed, but they can recoup this money back from you if something happens. NBA guaranteed mean guaranteed. MLB, you know what guaranteed mean?
Guaranteed.
You get every dime.
I can be a 70-year-old man in my walking chair, and I'm still collecting checks because
Bobby
guaranteed,
Bonilla. Holla
yeah,
at Bobby Bonilla. He's still
that
getting
day's
that
coming up.
check.
Shohei Ohtani gonna
Yeah,
be get paid till you about 100 years old.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, man, them checks gonna keep rolling in, and it leads to a further question for me is why do these players feel the need to be committed to the team, and they're so quick to show up to mini camp, or
Yeah.
even when they say they hold out, they don't nobody really goes all the way through. Even what's your boy for the Jets? He threatened it, but eventually he caved.
But like a lot of times, Larry, you threaten to hold out, but you have
Yeah.
to show up to the camp,
No, but
and
even
then
the
you
thing,
don't go on the field, right?
these
Like
I'm gonna put
you'll
it
be
like
on
this,
the
bro.
bike.
The NFL union is
It's like a
so
hold in.
weak. It's
Yeah.
so weak, and they bent over for so much stuff. Even if you hold in, they can find you. If you don't show up, they can find you. You are
Mhm.
literally getting fined so much money that you're actually gonna end up probably owing the team. That's who would agree
Yeah.
to that? Who
Mm-hmm.
in their right mind would agree to that and say, you know what? Not only can you tag me where I can't leave and I can't really get my true free agent value because you can tag me, but not just that. If I do decide to hold out, I'm getting fined so much money that I'm eventually end up owing you money.
And it was the players who suggested the
Yes.
fining for the holdouts. It was the players who came up with the rookie salary cap. It was the
It makes
players who
no
did this
sense.
to other players. Think
It
about that
makes
for a
Yeah.
minute.
no sense. And like
No.
I said, when have you ever known an NBA player to say, I'm holding out?
It doesn't exist in
Name
the
one. It doesn't
NBA.
Nah,
exist.
Yeah,
nah.
it does. No, it doesn't
When
exist. Yeah.
I mean, I know MLB they have arbitration, but when have you ever known a baseball player say, "I'm holding out, I'm skipping spring training"?
Don't happen.
Don't
Doesn't
happen, bro.
happen. No. Mm-mm.
This is the only league that this is an issue for, and they don't see that it's a bigger problem than just guys showing up to camp or holding in and all this other stuff. That's the part that kills me. It's like y'all literally playing in the most violent of sports. Well, hockey to a bit. You guys playing one of the most violent of sports. Meanwhile, you guys have the I'm gonna say crappiest union, have the crappiest contracts.
Mm.
Like this, it makes no sense to me, and it furthers. You know how that old saying, "Stupid football players." It just further reiterates the stupid football player mentality of it's no way you're gonna sign that. And I'll go even further. CK, you probably be in this more than I do. It's no way in the world that they should even went to a collective bargaining agreement and they was like, oh, we want to see the books, and they was like, oh, we don't want to show you the books, just take our word for it. And then they was like, oh, you know what?
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah,
We want
right.
to see the books. Oh no, we're
Sign,
giving you guys,
sign this card, sight unseen. Come on.
yeah, we giving you guys the majority of the profit share, but you don't need to see the books to know that you're actually getting that. It's
And
like,
they said yes to that.
yes, and they agreed to it. Like, I, regardless of what you want to say about Floyd Mayweather was one of the first boxers that said, you know what, I want to see the gate. I want to see what money am I actually getting. Don't let your promoter just say, you know what, well, the gate was only 2 mil. I think I'm gonna give you this 1 mil, even though that gate was 300 million. Like you have to look at the books, and that just lets you know how stupid these guys is. No way, there's no way in the world we're not opening these books and really truly seeing that you guys are playing in one of the most valuable leagues that there is. Matter of fact, I think NFL is the most valuable league. You
Yeah.
guys are playing in the most valuable league, but you guys are getting peanuts with
Yeah.
basically you have to show up to work every single day to even get that.
Yeah. It's crazy because like you look at the NHL, look, those guys get paid $17 an hour, but it's all guaranteed.
Yep.
Okay.
Nobody misses a game.
You
Nobody
know,
misses training camp.
they play, is you don't see that in hockey, you don't see it in other sports. And the thing with the NFL is crazy because like I said, it's the most valuable league, but they also have the biggest roster. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to put that into account as well. So it's like,
Yeah,
I
I mean, I
mean,
get that.
when you have a roster of 12 guys on a basketball team, yeah, everybody can make, 17, 18 million, 39, 6, Steph Curry's gonna make what, $60 million next year.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like it's crazy, but I also feel like it is a situation where like you talked about baseball earlier, and it's just like, look, man, they get their money and they just go about their business. You don't hear a lot of talk about that. You don't hear hockey players talk about money. Basketball players buy football players bottles in the club. Like, hey man, I know you ain't really got it like that, man. You know, you with me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, Trey Young go up to Kyle Pitts in the club in Atlanta and be like, man, I know you don't really got it, man. This next round on me, dog. Like, you know.
You know, Steve, it's not even the money. How do you not have lifetime medical?
No.
How do you not have lifetime medical? That
Because
was the
the
one
NFL,
thing during
NFL did
COVID
it.
that they had an opportunity to get, and they settled for a gospel hymn and performative art in the end zone.
Dude.
Yeah.
Even
Like
I'm
be
gonna be
someone or
further,
whatever.
Steve.
Like that. Yeah.
Even the G League guy not missing no games. And he ain't making nowhere near what Steph Curry making. He not missing no games. Like, you know what? I'm getting this guaranteed 100,000 a year. I'm coming to work. My money's gonna be there. Like, dude, think about it. The NFL players are literally the dude. You could be in soccer and be like the 12th guy off the bench, and he still shows up to work every day. Soccer money is crazy. So, now you talking about Trey Young talking about I know you ain't got it. Hey, let one of them soccer guys come in there and be like, speaking in Spanish, saying what we did, I know you there, whatever in Spanish, I
Oh
know you
yeah.
ain't got it. Yeah. You
Yeah. I
know, I know
mean,
you ain't got it. Huh?
yeah. It's crazy
Hey.
because like you know, baseball when they had their strike or whatever like that, it's funny because like they were like, well, there should be a salary floor. There should be a salary floor. And then the owners were like, well, you know, if there's a salary floor, there has to be a salary cap. And they're like, all right, you know, never mind. Back to business. Well, let's get back on the field, boys. All right, let's get.
But you know what? I will say this though, Steve. Hey, when them players say we striking in baseball, they was like,
They strike.
damn your World Series, we
Yeah.
striking.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean, it's the most powerful union of
yeah,
the big four.
Yeah.
I mean, in
Yeah.
football, in NFLs is the weakest. I mean,
Yes.
look, you talk about where's the money channel is like a lot of it went into Morris Smith's pocket.
Oh,
You
I
know what I'm
know.
saying?
I know.
You know what I'm saying? If we keep it a buck.
Yep.
You
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
so it's like that's why it was just like, oh, we don't. Everything's fine. We trust, and it's like when that's your leadership, when that's the guy who's supposed to be your advocate. This is why the NFL players in the position they in right now.
Yep.
Yep. And you show your ass up to training camp, and you can what do you say on Liar? I'm a be and moan, and I'm gonna do all this other stuff, but
Right.
I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna take it because that's what they do. They just
Yeah.
they fuss about it, they complain about it, but at the end of the day, they're gonna show up in camp.
That's why
Whatever they gotta do.
NIL is so good, because these kids coming out now have a little bit of a nest egg. So like this kid Shamar Stewart. Let's all be honest. He underperformed like a summer gun in college, right?
Yeah.
But he made some money in college. So he could tell the Bengals, I ain't stepping on the field till you change the language in the contract. The
Right.
language is boilerplate, by the way. Boilerplate.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, fix the boilerplate. I'll get on the field. Because in the past, he'd been, I need to get these checks. He's like, I'm good, bro. Texas A&M hooked me up. I'm good. I got a couple mil in the bank. I'll wait.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
We'll play the waiting game, but like I said, it's crazy how a lot of these NFL players they don't live like that. They live basically paycheck to paycheck,
Yeah.
and they have to get on that field, but they union don't protect them enough to where they don't. Like I said, you're not gonna catch nobody else going into a. I'll go even further, y'all, and this is where I'm gonna go with it. In any other league, would he have even gotten to this point without that contract already being in place?
No.
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 Mm-mm.
NBA is
mean-
like, hey, you qualify for Supermax? Here you go. You get a Supermax, you get a Supermax, you get a Supermax. Everybody gets Supermax as long as you hit that and you're done.
Yeah.
It's not a problem. It's only a problem in the NFL.
Yep.
Man, we got some MLB stuff that goes to arbitration or whatnot, but nothing like this NFL stuff.
I mean, but even when you go to
No, I mean,
arbitration, you're not tripping. You come out of it, you're done, and then you like, you know what? I'm gonna break the bank. You know?
because the arbitration is a third party. It's not even.
Yes.
It's the team on one side, the player on the other side. And then the third party says, okay, well, we think like what? Who was it? And then that's why you see a lot of like pre-arbitration deals.
Yes.
That's why you see Julio Rodriguez got all that money already, and that's why you like. I hate to bring him up, but it's just the first. That's Wander Franco got all that money, and then it's like what happened with that. But like
Yeah.
it's just like that's what they do. That's why they do that in baseball, because it's like, yeah, I mean, maybe football needs arbitration. I don't know, because it seems like the play,
They
Somebody
need to
needs to
redo the
save.
whole CBA.
Somebody
That's what
needs
they
to
need to do.
save. Somebody needs to save these guys from themselves. And it's a shame that it's a shame that it's not. I don't know, the Players Association who's
Yeah,
supposed to be their advocates.
yeah,
They need some. They need a third party to come in here and save them because the owners are going to continue to do this and take advantage of the players because the union is so weak.
yeah.
Yeah, but they have no power. I mean, Chandler knows like the 80s strikes.
Oh my
The
God.
only thing that they could get over the line was rev share, an increase in rev share in free agency. That's
They
the
had
only
some of
thing
the
that
biggest name players crossing the picket line. How you gonna
because
get
they
It's not even
stars
true
across the
changes.
picket line?
exactly because
So
they had the
they stopped
money.
missing
They could
checks.
yeah,
They
they
stopped missing
stopped missing
checks,
checks and they
and
couldn't
this
do
was the
anything.
'80s, so they wasn't making nearly as much. It's like
Exactly.
Exactly.
they had guys making Pro Bowls who worked at Walgreens in the off season. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
it was So it's just hey,
I
you know.
mean,
Like I see them
LT
dudes on.
was like one of the guys that said I wouldn't cross the line, but like he was LT. He could afford it.
You can
Like
afford
other
it now,
guys
yeah.
really couldn't. You know what I mean? 80, I think 86, 87 was the one where they used replacement players, and
Yeah.
that was a whole big thing, right?
Yeah.
So 87. So it's different, and they've never recovered. They never got the power that they needed, and they could never wrestle it away from the owners. The only thing the owners conceded was probably free agency, but they controlled the cost, right? They controlled the cost of everything, and they still do. And to your point, baseball, that union is so powerful because they took the drastic step of saying in '94 we won't
No.
play.
Yeah, no.
And there won't be a
Mhm.
World Series,
Mhm.
and then it was on them to really do the outreach with the fans. But if you were a smart fan, I was 13 years old. I
Yeah.
didn't get it, but if you were an old enough fan to know, you knew the players were in the right and the owners were full of crap.
Dude,
and
the
they did what
NBA
they had to
almost
do.
didn't have a finals. Remember the Spurs won on what, like 23 games? They got
Yeah.
close.
Yeah.
98, 99. That's the
99. Yeah,
that's
they're
one of
half
the
a champion.
reasons
They're
that
half a
Jordan
championship.
retired.
Yep.
That people don't talk about it. They want to say Phil Jackson and all that, but that was one of the reasons that Jordan didn't come back, was that whole thing. So
Dude, they was dead set on missing the finals. They was like, nah,
yeah,
we'll ride it out. But the NFL never,
and
they
they
won't
caved.
stick to
Owners
it.
caved because they were missing checks, and
But that
that was
those
like a
players
40 something.
associations also told guys, listen, y'all going to, as part of your dues, you're going to put money away in this war chest, so that when we strike, we're gonna have money for you to pay your mortgage, to pay your car insurance. You know, if your kid gets sick, here's some money, take it to the hospital. NFL players refuse. In order, growth in anything comes with being uncomfortable. It comes with sacrifice. That's the only way you grow. The only way the NFL players are going to get anything, they're going to have to suffer a little bit. They're going to have to suffer. And none of them want to suffer, but they want to constantly tell us how tough they are. But you don't want to suffer, but you're a tough guy. Okay.
Because they probably don't manage their money really well,
They
too,
need
right?
they need to make them dudes. They need to make them dudes go back and watch ESPN Broke, because majority of them was football players on there. I don't know if anybody ever seen that. I mean,
I remember that.
I don't want to bring up another network, but they need to watch that, and they need to go watch Straight Outta Compton, because Ice Cube said it. I put in the work, and you over here acting like I'm begging you for something. There are literally guys that have multiple Pro Bowls and are literally begging for the money that they've already earned, which makes no sense. Like, I'm not a big Michael Parsons fan, but if you look at Michael Parsons' production, that contract should have already been in his mailbox waiting on him to sign it.
Yeah, if he was
like, when are you coming in the office to sign this contract? The going rate is 40 mil. We got you at 42 because we know it's going to be a little extra in there because we know inflation. Go in
and look at the players too, guys. Like, and I know we want to get to other stuff too, and the villain's starting to fade a little bit, but like look at like they don't have deals outside of the NFL like NBA players do.
Yeah,
like,
most of them
what
don't.
can they? Because it's about the league, it's about the shield. Like, you don't get to sell your jersey. Like, you don't get a shoe deal in the NFL because you wear cleats. It's different. You know what I mean? Like, you can attach to a brand like Nike or Under Armour, right? Like, but like outside of that, like, what kind of deals
Yeah, ain't no
Or you-
individual cleats. Ain't no individual cleats.
individual cleats. You got clothing lines. I mean, heck, I
Who's
didn't
got a
see.
cleat? Who's got an individual cleat? Who's got a cleat?
But who's got a cleat that you need to wear? Like, oh my God, the new
But they don't do it.
Mahomes is out. It's not
Yeah.
like the new
Yeah, they don't do
LeBrons
it.
or the
I
new
mean, no, it's
Kobe.
not like basketball. No, and the thing is,
Shohei wears cleats, and Shohei's cleats sell out.
But there's not a
Yeah,
lot
he
of
was,
guys like
he was
you take Mahomes out of the picture. Mahomes it has a deal with like Subway, or like there's brands that players can
Gillette.
attach to, right? Like,
Mhm.
but you take Mahomes out or Josh Allen or like. Does Lamar Jackson have a big endorsement deal with a brand?
Lamar Jackson has no endorsement deals, pretty much.
Exactly my point. So like, there's not a lot. Like you take maybe TJ Watt has a deal out there. I don't know.
He does. He does a couple things with Taco Bell.
He does it with his brother though. He does it with JJ.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
JJ
And you look at the brothers, Kelsey brothers. They have a deal out there, right? Like but like they're few and far between because it's really about the helmet and the logo on the helmet. You don't see the face. You know what I mean?
They wear helmets. Yeah, you can't really market that.
Yeah, they're nameless, faceless beasts.
Yeah, like can anybody really outside of the sport really tell you what like DJ Metcalf looks like? You know his name, you add him on your fantasy team, but do you know what he looks like?
But if you're the best player, I'm gonna say if you're the best player or you one of the best players in any league, bro, you can market yourself. I just think I'm being real. I'm just thinking that them dudes is just stupid, bro. I'm just being for real.
Listen, until Tom Brady married Giselle, most people couldn't pick him out of a lineup.
Tom Brady had deals though. Tom Brady was making money out of
They knew who he was, but did he have deals like that?
No.
Yeah, Tom Brady
married her.
No, Tom Brady had deals, especially his TB12 stuff. Yeah,
Tom Brady got them big national deals once he married that supermodel.
Yeah, but he had some deals, but
he was TB12 wasn't a thing until he got to that next level, right? But
when he
people
married
knew who he was.
Supermodel.
Yeah, but these dudes
he was winning championships, but was he marketable?
No, not until he married the supermodel.
That's what I'm saying. But these dudes
Peyton was more marketable than he was.
But these dudes don't do like that. Dude, y'all talking to a shoehead. Dude, Dion sell. Dion had his turfs and they sell. Dion marketed himself outside of football. These guys don't do that. Like Dion literally, people forget Dion had a whole rap video. Like Dion did things outside of football.
The rap video, bro.
We don't want to talk
about
it.
Hey, we ain't talking about it. I'm just saying.
I can still see him dancing.
Yeah, but he did things outside of football to market himself. And if you're one of the best players in the league, you can sell yourself. Dude, think about it, dude. We all just talked about it. Bo knows. Like Bo Jackson was doing things outside of football to market.
But that was because of baseball more than football.
It's different with football players than it is with basketball players. Like it's different. Like basketball players are a brand. The team is a brand in the NFL. That's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you also have to market yourself to become a brand, and I don't think the NFL players do that.
But LG, the team is the brand. The shield is the brand. In NBA, the player is the brand.
Yeah, I mean the NBA is a player-driven league.
Dude, if you got me on a damn commercial talking about I'm going to Disney World after I won the Super Bowl, man, I'm fit to market the hell out of myself.
Yeah, but you
I wouldn't do that deal until I can. But I'm not doing that deal unless there's there's something else on it for me. And so I'm promoting you. What are you doing for me?
But then they also buy into that culture of, if you standing out from the team, now you're a distraction. They buy into that nonsense, which again feeds right back into stupidity of these players because they allow the crowd to basically shout them down, which is taking money out of their own pocket. But that same crowd will not stick up for them when it's time to stick up. So you following the crowd and losing money. You try to stand out from the crowd, let them shout you down and lose money. Pick a lane, bro.
Like I say, dude, real talk. And I'll get further. Dude, we talked about video games, dude. Saquon, you on the cover of Madden, bro. I'm like, Barry, bro, I'm be on the cover of Madden. I'm going to do all the commercials. I'm going to get another deal with this.
He's on the cover in a helmet.
I don't care. I am Saquon Barkley, and I'm on the cover.
Ask the casual fan that buys that game to pick him out of a lineup and they couldn't.
No casual fans are buying Madden.
They're gonna learn who I am because they're gonna see me on everything outside of that game.
Yeah.
They're gonna see me on it. You're gonna learn who I am because you're gonna see me on everything else.
Well, don't you want casual fans to buy the game because they know who you are?
Yeah, I do. I want everybody to buy the game because I'm.
But are they
Saquon.
buying the game because Saquon's on the cover? Or are they buying the game?
There's a lot of people buying that damn NBA just so they
Yeah.
can do all of the blinging out of the players and whatnot. They ain't really into basketball.
I'm doing every. I'm signing a collective marketing deal. Y'all gonna have me
I
on
will
the
not
cover,
be
and I'm
buying
doing
that
everything. Barry,
I'm
come
Will
not-
not
on.
be buying
I'm
that.
hiring Barry DeVille and Jordan to be my rep, and we gonna sign all kinds of deals over here. Look,
Yeah, I could do that, but my
man, listen.
hate for the Eagles will not allow me to buy that.
I already,
game.
I already gave Barry a great marketing thing, and he ain't did nothing with it
because
yet.
they,
What
like
are
I
you
said, because
talking
they.
about?
I just think that they just don't
I'll
follow
tell
up
you
on
offline. I ain't saying it on here so they can steal it.
My hate for Madden is why I won't buy Madden. That's
Oh,
what
Tough game to play. Tough game to play. Moving right along, we've been on football for an hour and a half, which I love, but we do got an NBA Finals that is tied up 1-1. Before we get there,
all right.
um,
I'm gonna head out.
Jeez.
before we get
Well,
there, I did want to talk a little bit about what I just saw come across my screen earlier today. And it's kind of been floating around with the trade rumor being as though Kevin Durant is going to be on the moves and possibly sign with the San Antonio Spurs. Um, Good fit, bad fit. What would you guys had? We don't really need to talk about the NBA Finals per se, but that's what it could potentially look like for us Rockets fans in 2025. I have problems, but Coach, talk to me. Where's your head at?
So,
you know, I am sick of this. I don't know how the Spurs continue to get away with this. I am calling for a full-on investigation into the business practices of the San Antonio Spurs. Um, I I don't know. So here's the thing. I will take my Rockets fan hat off and I will put on just my basketball fan hat and say that this would be fantastic. It's like Chris Paul wasn't the vet that team needs. Okay, because Chris Paul still is all about Chris Paul, and it's like, look at me, I'm Chris Paul. Kevin Durant is the perfect vet for these young bucks because he has the experience, he has the championship medal. It's like the pick and rolls that him and Wemby could run. Because it's like, we talk a lot about like some of the older players in the league. Like Durant can still go.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. It's like he was on a really bad Phoenix team, and I still, for the life of me, don't know what happened out there in Phoenix and what's continuing to happen. Because it seems like something is riding in the house of Denmark out in the Valley of the Sun.
Bradley
But that's
Beal.
yeah. So it's like it ain't even Bradley Beal. It's ownership. Everything on that because Sheba too focused on trying to buy the White Sox, but that's a different story for a different day. Um, when you look, but see, my thing is like, what do the Spurs give up to get Kevin Durant? And that's
Draft
my whole
picks,
thing. You know,
lots of draft picks, right?
exactly. The Spurs are in a situation where it's like they don't even have to really give up anything, if at all, because the Suns do not want any salary coming back to Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
But
So
they have a salary that's easy to take in Castle if they wanted to.
exactly. So it's just like that's the thing that like burns my biscuits about this whole thing. It's like the Spurs. It makes sense basketball wise. It makes
Mm-hmm.
sense in every way, shape, and form. It's just I hate it.
I hate it so much.
I mean, I wish there's other teams that he can go to that he can be beneficial. I hear the Knicks, I don't know, but I mean, like the Rockets would be a nice fit. I think there's some other teams that they talked about too, but like the more you hear about stuff, the more you're seeing that it's a possibility that he could go to the Spurs. I wish he would go back home, but it doesn't look like they would need him in OKC, right?
No, they don't need him.
I thought you meant the Wizards.
Yeah, I mean,
he ain't that crazy, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like everything you heard, like there was deals that were offered that he could have had in place that he could have went to the Knicks and at the trade deadline. He didn't want to go there. Like I don't know what he wants to do.
I really don't. And it drives me crazy because as a player, he deserves better, but like I feel like he just doesn't like have direction. Like he needs to be told. Like,
He
or
doesn't
guided.
care.
Yeah, there
He
you
Yeah.
go.
doesn't
He,
There
care.
you go.
he wants to get
Yeah,
up in the morning and go hoop. That's all he wants to do. He doesn't care
he
about
doesn't
anything.
care. It's like all he cares about is like basketball. It's like
Yep.
basketball, like that's his thing. And it's like I respect that. That's one thing I respect
There's
about
nothing
KD.
wrong with that.
He's like, man, look, basketball, man. I just want to hoop.
Yep.
He says that all the time. I just want to hoop. I don't care where I hoop. I just want to hoop. And it's like again, people try to talk about Kevin Durant all the time. And it's like, look, I'm a KD guy. His legacy is secure.
Mm-hmm.
If he retired tomorrow, he's one of the best to ever pick up a basketball and go on court. It's just at this stage of his career, I mean, I just like I said, I think this is just perfect for him because it's like he can go and like there are gonna be nights where it's like he will unlike most superstars, Kevin Durant will be like, all right, man, look, Wimby, you got it tonight. De'Aaron, you got it tonight. Like y'all good. I'll shoot my 16, 17 shots over here, whatever like that. And they were
Wide open
trying.
because he's gonna have. I mean, oh my fucking god!
Yeah, I think Kevin Durant to the Spurs is a perfect fit. Steve's right. I mean,
That's what. Yeah,
it's perfect.
it makes so much sense, but I
Yeah,
hate it. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, it because yeah, and yeah, you give up Castle because you got De'Aaron Fox and you have Sohan, and they have the other kid that's a point guard, and they have the number 2 pick in the draft, so they can go get Ace Bailey or Dylan Harper or whoever else they want. You
oh
understand what I'm
god, I
saying?
forgot they got the
You
second pick
forgot
in the draft.
they got 2 picks.
Oh,
Man, they got 2 picks.
jeez.
They got 2
So
picks.
that full blown investigation we're talking about, Steve, needs to happen ASAP.
So I mean, they
They
could
don't
trade
even have
both
to
of those
do it.
picks to the Suns. They could give the Suns both of those picks and keep Stephon Castle, bro.
This
Mm-hmm.
I
R.I.P.
mean,
David Stern.
are you kidding me right now?
This would not happen on David Stern's watch. I'm looking
Bro,
at you, Silver. There is no way this would
bro.
happen on David Stern's watch, and I miss him every day
But
because like boy, he would
that's
not let this
also,
happen.
Steve, that also goes back to when we talked about the fact that the lottery is rigged. And when I say rigged, I'm not saying rigged for a specific team, but it's definitely rigged against certain markets. It's rigged
Houston.
against certain markets
Houston.
because there's no way in hell that the Sixers would have a high draft pick when they were already basically a playoff team. You know what I'm saying? What the way that lottery does is it benefits certain teams all the time. I'm sorry, it does. And if certain teams
Cleveland.
constantly get a benefit of it, then you got to fix it. It's broken. If you don't want to use the word rigged, then it's broken. But it's broken because there's no way in hell the Spurs should have two top 10 picks after they just got Wemby, after they just got Stephon Castle. Really?
And
I mean,
then
how many
they
players do
trade
they
for
need like that?
Fox.
And then they trade for Fox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Look, I'm gonna say this, and I think it's some foolishness going on, some shenanigans, because y'all know, look, there's no way in the hell the Rockets ain't win not one of these draft picks, and just so happen Wembley end up in San Antonio.
Look, that's just
I
bad.
would've-
That's bad
I
luck.
would've-
But
Look,
defund the Spurs. Defund the
yeah,
Spurs.
but I'll go even further, and I think
But they're not. The
they
Spurs
could-
haven't been good. They're not like the
No.
Lakers. The Lakers always get stimulus packages. The Spurs,
Yeah,
don't,
but
they haven't
but the
been really
Spurs,
good.
Jenny Buss take one PPP loan, and all of a sudden,
yeah.
like, everybody want to give her a hard time.
Hey, but you
Like
know
I'm
what,
gonna defend Jenny Buss, man. Like
dude?
she take a little bit of money that anybody could have took, any small business owner could have took, and everybody want to get all on Jenny Buss. Never mind. Like,
Look, hey, I'm gonna put it like this, and I agree with y'all, dude. I'll be real. They don't even have to give up to give up Castle to go get Kevin Durant,
They don't.
because what I think a lot of people fail to realize is not only they got the second and they got the 10 this year, I think is what it is.
It's
Second and
second
10.
and-
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Second
2 and 8. So
and
they
10.
can give Phoenix 8 and some other stuff, whatever
But
like that, and Phoenix take that.
I mean, I think Phoenix really want to get their own picks back, which you know who holding all their draft
They
houses.
can't have them. We need them.
If they have, we
Yeah.
need them.
I think they really want to do. I think they
Let me say
really
that
want
at the
to
same
get their
time.
own back.
Yeah.
But it's like, man, the only way they're gonna get them back is if you know what, hey, what do you say about my cold dead hand? Look, you better take it from my kung fu grip.
Yes,
But
it's like you can have back your picks.
dude,
We give us Kevin Durant.
I'm
Give us
I'm
Kevin
gonna
Durant.
take, but this is why I think some, like, I guess they want to make San Antonio great again. I guess I don't know. make them back to being championship contenders. Dude, they are still sitting on Atlanta's pick next year.
Yep.
Which
Yeah, from
I don't see
the
Atlanta getting.
Murray deal. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see Atlanta getting good no time soon.
No.
So
No.
that's gonna probably be another top 5 pick, if
They got
not
2 and 14 right now.
2 and 14.
Yeah,
Okay.
I knew it was one of them. But then they still sitting on Atlanta's pick next year. Dude, that is crazy. If I was them, I wouldn't even give up. I wouldn't even give up Castle. I would be like, you know what? Make your pick, bro. Let us know which one you want, and we're gonna give you a top 5 pick either way.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't trade more than one of those top picks for Kevin Durant and call it a day.
But see, they have to make the money work. That's the whole
Yeah,
piece.
yeah, they got
Well, I
so they
mean,
can
if you
package
sit in
the
some
they can
Philly,
package the they
yeah,
can give them the Atlanta pick next year, the
yeah,
14 like 14 this year, the Atlanta pick next year, and like
and
literally another player to make the money work.
and I would give
Okay.
them every bench guy on my bench that has no
Well, I
way.
mean, if you learn anything from Phoenix, you don't want to gut your bench.
No, but I'm just saying. No, I'm
Because
talking
they're,
about.
they're so low, they're not even close to the second apron, so they can reload their bench.
Mm.
That's the other
Yeah.
part is
Yeah, I forgot about that.
they
too.
got the
Yep.
cap space or
Yep.
apron space or whatever space you want to call it, whatever
Still
term
sitting
they
on
use.
more draft picks. Like, yeah, still
Bro.
sitting on more draft picks. You know, it's like what I said about this OKC team, dude. This team is like really, really good, but Sam Presti's still sitting on like 12 or 13 first round draft picks.
They're gonna mess
It's
around
like-
and win the NBA finals and still have a first round draft pick.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. That's how many draft picks that they're still sitting on. Like I said, it's funny when you watch some of these teams and like, damn, they are that good, and you're gonna add more to that team, and they're still sitting on picks. Like, I don't know who was thinking about what in LA when they made that Paul George trade. It's like, you know what, you want 5 picks and Shea Gildress? Yeah,
I mean,
I'll
but
take it.
that was like let's not retell history because at
Yeah.
that time
Yeah, I get
nobody
it.
was like this is a terrible deal. Everybody was like, oh man, the
But
Clippers are getting problems.
No,
Shea was
some-
up and coming.
I said that was a bad trade when they gave
I
up
wouldn't
Shea.
have added
did.
Shea.
Some
I wouldn't
people-
have added Shea. I wouldn't have added Shea.
No,
in that deal.
the
I wouldn't
problem was that the deal came about because Kawhi Leonard bullied the
Yeah.
LA Clippers
Yeah.
management
Yeah.
to do that deal, and he said, if you want me to come here, you're gonna go get Paul George," and then the OKC bent him over and said, "You know what? This is what you're gonna give up." And when they threw Shea in that deal, people knew that wasn't a good deal.
Yeah.
People knew it. Like I
mean,
have to
but-
disagree with you, Coach. Like people knew that.
The DeJounte Murray deal wasn't that great of a deal to me. I
No,
was
it
like,
wasn't
what?
either.
Y'all giving up all these first. I mean, he's a good player, but not like, what did they get? 2 or 3 first rounders for him? Like,
Well,
nah.
that was a situation where Atlanta just needed him out of there.
I mean,
that
when
was
he went
that
out
was
of
like
San Antonio, you mean?
yeah,
Yeah,
San Antonio, like he gotta get out of here. He gotta go.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
You
but I
know,
mean,
yeah.
you're
Yeah.
talking about that trade was on the Knicks level, traded for Bridges, just giving up 5. Not getting the player wasn't bad, but giving up 5 pits for him.
yeah, first
Yeah,
rounders
but
and some
if the
swaps.
Knicks, but see, it depends on where you're going to keep finishing. If you're going to be finishing low in the first round, which makes you second round picks, I don't mind you giving up a first round draft pick because if a team that's picking in the 25 to 30 range, that's basically a second round pick anyway.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm basically giving you a bunch of second round picks. It's not like I'm giving you a top 10 pick.
Yeah, but when you Atlanta and you trade it away, then it's like,
Now those are top 10 picks. Yeah, Atlanta.
Yeah.
But listen, Atlanta still thinks Trae Young is going to turn into a team player. So
and the only reason why the Rockets in the position because we had to fleece those picks out of
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well, I don't know what the Rockets are going to do. I think Jalen, what's his face?
Jalen Green.
He came up small in that.
It was his first playoffs.
Dude,
I understand that, but he's too good to have games like that. And they got a lot of picks. The Rockets have a lot of picks. I feel like they need to make a move. Like this offseason is very important for the Rockets.
I don't think they do. I think you leave it alone and let the team grow. Okay. Remember, this was a team full of basically children, okay, at one point.
Still is.
And it still is, but now they're tweens. Okay. Before they were just toddlers. Now they're tweens. Can we let them become teenagers? Okay,
No, I understand that, but if I'm sitting on those picks with a team that was a 2 seed that overachieved, I'm taking those picks and I'm asking Milwaukee, what do you need to get me Giannis?
I am not breaking up that team. I am not breaking
But I'm
up
not.
that
Yeah,
team.
I don't think you have
you're
to
not
break
breaking
up the team.
You're not breaking up the team, but you do have to be like, okay, do we give Milwaukee Green or Sengun? You have to pick
Neither
one.
one.
You know what
I'm
I'm
not
saying?
trading either one.
And that's what it will come to.
Yeah, and I'm not trading either one.
But
I'm
if you
the-
had
I'm
to
the
pick
Bucks.
Giannis
Like,
or
yeah.
Green, you're telling me you're not trading for Giannis? with
I am
Green?
not giving up Jalen Green or Sengun. I am not giving them up. I'll give you other players.
But for Giannis,
I am okay. You're not listening to me.
no,
I
I'm
am not
hearing you.
giving up.
I'm hearing you, but I'm pushing back on you. Respectfully.
How old is Giannis? How old is Giannis?
Like 31, I think.
31.
Okay. How old is Jalen Green?
23.
23. 23.
But Giannis can get you.
23.
Dude,
But
let
you
the
not
Rockets-
think Giannis can get you over the hump as a playoff team?
No.
let the two Rockets fans say this.
Also, you have to look at the coach. This is because see, I'm looking at the entire thing. I also have a coach who can't coach a pick and roll.
No.
And you're bringing in a guy who you need to put in the pick and roll.
That's not fair.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Ume is one of the better coaches in the league.
They
Larry, jump tag in.
We fussed about them putting players in pick and roll positions and maximizing your two best players forever.
Tag in.
But I've been on this network, and y'all know I've preached it over and over. The move that the Rockets need to make, and they can go to Danny Ainge and look, give me Lauri Marketing. I'm gonna send you Jabari, and I'm gonna give you the entire Phoenix draft. And that's the move that they need to make.
That's the move.
That's the move that they need to make. And I get it. Lauri Marketing, he don't have all of the Kevin Durant, because evidently Kevin Durant is trying to do everything but come to Houston. So stay your ass wherever you at. Stay with. I was trying to be nice.
You want to be in Texas, though. You want to be in Texas.
But he's not trying to come to the Rockets. I don't care. Go wherever you're gonna go. If you don't want to be here, keep it moving. But I think that the Rockets would actually have a better team with moving Jabari, because we know the Rockets win without that guy. The Rockets win. He's not a force multiplier for the Rockets, right? But a big who rebounds, who can actually consistently hit the three-pointer like Marketing, would open up that entire floor for everybody.
And the reason I don't want to break that team up is because I remember when they wanted to get rid of Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum. Oh, they ain't gonna win together. And you had to let them grow up. Can we let players grow up and evolve before we start saying he had one bad playoff series, we got to trade him?
I don't mind. Like I said, I don't mind keeping them and letting them grow up, but I think that they need to get rid of some of this excess, right?
The excess.
When I say excess,
Jalen Green, you cannot trade Jalen Green, bro.
No, I'm not saying trade Jalen Green. What I'm saying is, me and Steve just said on the show. Steve, haven't we said what Jabari's best attribute is when he's in a hoodie?
Mm-hmm.
Take your time with this wrist.
Make sure
you're not, and I'll go even further. They could literally probably go to Danny Ainge and say, you know what, Danny, just to sweeten the deal, we'll throw you in Cam Whitmore because we refuse to use him. We'll throw you in him too, and send us back.
Cam Whitmore and Clarkson would be quite a tandem.
Yes, they
would. that would be quite a tandem there.
Like I said, man, better yet, we'll take Clarkson in return and throw you Cam Whitmore and don't sweeten the deal to make the salaries match.
Well, you give me Jordan Clarkson and Lauri Marketing. They can have what they want. Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, I'll give you Jabari and a bunch of draft picks.
They can have what they want.
You can have what you want, and I'll take that. And that would solve the problem. The Rockets, if you watch their games, man, you'll see Jabari Smith sitting up in a corner, bricking threes, while Sengun's battling everybody down low, him and Thompson, to get rebounds. And this 6'10" dude averages 3 rebounds a game.
You see, I remember after last season when Oklahoma City underperformed, right?
No.
And there were a bunch of people saying, oh, they need to make a trade. And instead, what they did was they signed Isaiah Hartenstein. And they waited for Chet Holmgren to come back.
Chandler.
This is what I'm talking about.
And then they went and picked up Caruso.
Right, but I don't think Houston needs to make a huge trade. I think they need to make a smart trade.
That's the move that they need to go to. They need to go to Danny, because we all know Danny Ainge love draft picks. Danny Ainge,
or reach out to the Pistons, because for whatever reason, the Pistons are being stupid and they're making Jalen Duren available.
No. Rockies need somebody. They got too many inside score, too many slabs. They need somebody who can open up that.
His game, bro. He has this. He has the talent to take his game outside.
But he doesn't.
If you watch the games, you'll see. Man, you know who Jabari is to me, dude? Jabari is like Martin's cousin when he told him, "You're not Eddie Murphy. You're not Kevin Durant, bro."
Grown man from the fifth floor.
Yeah, Jabari plays like he's Kevin Durant, but he's not Kevin Durant.
All I'm saying though is you can get a good player, like if you can't get Markkanen, you can get a guy without breaking up the core of your team. There are going to be guys available because there's some teams out there that have some young players who haven't quite tapped in to what they're going to be, and they're making them available for some ridiculous reason.
They really need a 3-and-D guy, but they need somebody who can stretch, who can consistently open up the. Amin Thompson can't hit nothing past 8 feet, 9 feet. That's
free throw line and then is game.
It's something like that. Jalen Green is better when he's slashing. When he's jacking up threes, he's not. Sengun needs to operate in the paint. Dude, even Tari Eason. Yeah, Tari Eason needs to operate in the paint, bro. You're going to get off the Sengun, bro.
I was going to let that slide twice in a row.
You got these guys, but you don't have a consistent knockdown 3-point shooter on that team.
I think the Nets are going to make Cam Johnson available.
Give me Cam.
I think Cam.
If Cam Johnson is available, then all bets are off with everything else. It's like the Rockets need to focus all their attention. But see, here's the thing, and I said this before, and I've said this on the award-winning Launchpad show as well. Like the Rockets are a team full of people who like to shoot the ball, but none of them can shoot.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that is true.
Okay. They shoot a lot, but there aren't any shooters on their team. And anybody who's played basketball knows the difference between somebody who's just shooting the ball and a shooter. Yes. The Rockets have people who shoot the ball. The Rockets don't have no shooters, and the Rockets need shooters.
Yes, that's what I said. Cam Johnson. I think the Nets are going to make Cam Johnson available because they're still trying to do this whole 2-3 year rebuild nonsense.
I want Cam Johnson before I want Lauri Markkanen.
I think Lauri. That's why I said Lauri rebounds more.
Cam Johnson's available, then I said tear up all that Lauri stuff. Put all your attention into the Cam Johnson basket. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Get me my Tar Heel. Anyways, we have reached the tail end of the show. We haven't even spoke about baseball, which is good, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Yankees and the Astros.
You know, a lot to talk about, bro, other than Denzel Clark having one of the best catches in the history of baseball.
Dude,
that catch was amazing.
Which one? The first one?
Yeah, exactly. Which one?
Which was the other day.
Yeah, yesterday.
There was only like 3 fans in attendance.
Yeah, but thank God for TV because it was all over TV.
Yeah, man. Look. There was a bigger ovation when they put out fresh churros at Disneyland than it's like.
Yeah, but even Torrey Hunter tweeted about it, and
that's one of the greatest catches I've ever seen. I've seen a lot of great center field.
Yeah, but it's probably only 3 people with a ticket stub.
It got better every time I watched it. Every time I watched that catch, I noticed it got better every time I watched that catch. That was incredible.
That kid in 16 days has made 3 catches that you're like, this kid, if he just can hit a little bit.
Just a little bit.
All-star center field for the next 10 years. Period in the story.
But it's in I can't even say Oakland. What are they playing in Sacramento?
Sacktown, baby.
Nobody's seeing it right now.
He can hit a little bit.
They're just the Athletics right now.
They're just the Athletics. Yeah. Can I ask y'all this? Because we were talking about this at work real quick. You know, like I just want to throw this out there. Is that the best catch in that stadium? Because like the Edmonds catch was also in that stadium.
I would say yes.
Was that the best catch in that stadium?
I'd say
We're about
yes.
50-50 at work about like that or the
Which
Edmonds
which
catch being the best
which
catch.
which Edmonds catch?
Jim Edmonds
When
when he was
Jim Evans, yeah.
Jim Edmonds like dead center field, like went
Yep.
full on Willie Mays,
Yep.
like
Yep.
just yeah.
I mean, that to me is still the best catch a center fielder I've ever seen make.
I was the
'Cause,
same.
I mean, Willie Mays was different because it wasn't the catch; it was the throw. That to
Yeah,
me,
it was
that
a throw
catch,
after the
Yeah,
catch.
it was
Yeah,
a throw after the catch.
that's what made that play even more special.
Yeah.
But the full on dive behind your head, I mean, I'd never seen that before. In my
No, yeah,
life.
Edmonds just full on his stick, and I was like,
Yeah.
I like what that kid did was amazing, but I still think that's still the second best catch in that ballpark. Which
Yeah,
is
but
crazy
I
to
mean,
say.
he had
But yeah,
his arm went this way 10 feet, his body went that way.
That might be the best robbery, though. That might be the best robbery in that.
Yeah. No, I think best like home run robbery, absolutely.
Yeah,
okay,
oh
But the
yeah.
best catch
Yeah.
to me.
We can go there, but like best catch, I think is still the Edmonds catch. Which,
Yeah,
like, yeah.
Yeah, that Edmonds
Like,
catch was
dude.
something. Yeah.
It's like
The
hot-
only thing I hated about the Edmonds catch was that hideous
Those
jersey
those
that they were
uniforms. those
Yeah.
Edmonds uniforms were
Horrendous.
awful. Those were awful.
Horrendous.
Jeez.
like I
I
said,
mean,
there was probably like
mean,
8
just-
people in attendance, and 4 of them was
I mean,
working.
look at this. Look at the third picture. Look at that, bro.
I mean, what are we talking
God,
about here?
dog.
Like, what are we talking about?
I mean, are you serious? The body controller do that? Are you serious?
Like, who's my man that hit the shot? Like, he was looking at like, what the?
That was
Like,
the kid
what the hell?
Shanuel.
Right,
Yeah, like
yeah,
what?
yeah.
He was like, what the hell, man? Like, what the hell? You know what I mean?
Man,
Like,
that's that one you getting around, you coming around first, going to a second, just jotting, thinking you got that home run, and be like, man, what the hell?
Yeah,
I'm trying. He's like, I'm trying to eat. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, I'm trying to feed families. You robbing me at home runs. You know what I
That
mean?
is-
Because you know the baseball players, they know when they got that sweet stroke. They know when it's over the fences, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna trot on. What the man?
yeah. That's crazy. But
And
like I said,
because most guys get 20 swings of those a year, like 20.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And like one of them got taken away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, you know, hey, I will say this while we talking about that catch, bro, dude. That Judge moonshot today. Oh my
oh my
god.
God.
you almost
I
hit
think
it out
I-
of the stadium.
I
You
think
almost
it
hit it out of
just
the
came
stadium.
down.
Huh?
jeez.
That just came down. Like that
That
was
almost
that was,
went out of the stadium.
Yeah.
yeah,
Do you know
like,
how big
dude,
Kauffman Stadium is?
yeah, that's
Yeah.
a big stadium to
Yeah.
pull a ball that at where it landed. Like they said it was 500 feet, but like no, they said it was like 497 or something like that. Like,
Or
dude,
something. Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
That
I
was
have
like
not
I said,
seen a lot of home runs hit like that in that stadium. I've seen
Yeah,
some
I saw
go
I saw
into the
that, and
pond.
I just started laughing. I was like, of course, like like yeah, whatever. Like, who cares? Like,
Yeah.
I was like, of course he does that, because I saw like the kid, the Red Sox kid, like who's like tearing stuff, like he hit one like 500 feet or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And they were like, it was the longest like hit ball like this year. And I guess Judge was like, all right, okay, cool.
Hold my beer.
oh my god.
Remember, that was a minor league game. That was a minor
Dude.
league game.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna put it
Yeah.
like this, bro. Hey, you one Judge, he knew that was gone as soon as he hit it, but you know it's bad when the offense didn't even move. They knew
Nobody
that
moved.
was
Nobody moved. Yeah.
Nope.
And I go back to because they said it was 469. Whatever.
Yeah, that's what
It
I'm
had to
looking at
be
now.
close to
465.
That was
500.
further than that.
But
No
like
way, no way.
I go back to the one at Yankee Stadium he hit against the Royals that went about 500. Remember that one that went all the way over the bleacher in left field? Remember that
Yeah.
shot? Like that, like wow.
Well,
Like,
see,
you know what I mean?
That's not the most impressive home run I've seen in Yankee Stadium.
No.
The old Yankee Stadium, well, the most recent Yankee Stadium, not this one. Canseco hit one to
Yes.
left to the third tier. Nobody
goes
hits
up
from
there.
there. I mean,
Nobody goes up there.
bro, he destroyed that ball.
Yeah,
and they
I
don't
mean,
talk about it because nobody gets balls in that. It was
Yeah.
the third road up at that. Nobody hits balls.
Like,
up there.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
if you
Bonds,
know,
Bonds
you
got
know.
close.
You-
Bonds got close, but he didn't.
Right.
He didn't even get it up there.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
yeah.
You give it-
Exactly.
we know they be watching our show, so we giving Aaron Judge motivation, man. Like Yeah, third row.
Yeah, Aaron Judge, you coward. Bet you won't hit one 550 feet.
Bet you
You coward. Yeah.
But it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, no, but like, honestly, he's having an MVP season already, and like it would take something catastrophic for him not to
He
get
and
the MVP.
Otani are for the next 3 years. He and Otani are the MVPs. You may as well just pencil it in.
Mail it in. Like I don't know anybody in the AL that's going to be as good as Judge, and I don't know
nobody's
anybody
in the
in the
National League that's going to beat out Otani.
Yeah, you talked
I
about
really
this.
don't.
You talked about this last week, Barry. It's like it's just again, like I said, this is me taking my Astros fan hat off and just being a baseball fan. It's like Aaron. Just when you think Aaron just couldn't get any better,
Yeah.
he's elevating his game even more to where it's just like baseball's supposed to be hard, dog.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
supposed
he
to be
makes it
hard.
look easy.
he makes the hardest thing in sports look like child's play.
Yeah.
But even like the simple things, and then we can get off because I'm getting tired. But like the way he throws a baseball, right? It looks like he's like being lazy and effortless when he does it, but it's a bullet right to the bag on the fly. Like you know what I mean? Like you ever seen him like in the field like throwing a baseball? It looks like he's like taking his time, being real, but like it's coming out of his hand and it's like a dead shot. Like
Well, he started out as a center fielder. People forget that he played center field.
Yeah, in college. Like
he has the
he's an
skill set.
amazing player. He's an amazing player.
He and Otani, you can see the work they put in on their games. Because every year, each of them, their games are a little bit better.
Right.
You know, some guys we've seen over the years, they kind of hit and they stay at one plateau and they stay there and they're good for a while, but there's no change. Both of these guys have elevated their games over the past couple years.
Like how can you top a 62 home run season? Oh, I think I'll flirt with 400.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's all. I think I'll flirt with 400.
Dude.
And still get about 50 some odd home runs this year. Like, the guy is amazing. It's like you take it for granted. Like sometimes, like as a Yankee fan, like, I don't take it for granted but like you do take it for granted at a certain level because you just like with Shohei Ohtani, like, oh yeah, the guy can pitch. He threw 44 pitches in a session today, the first time he's pitched in over a year, and he's gonna start pitching again. It's like, yeah, you take that for granted. Like the guy can do anything he wants to on the field.
Judge and Ohtani are like if Ted Williams had power. You know what I'm saying? Because Ted Williams is one of the greatest hitters ever. Imagine if he had the power that either one of them had.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can liken it to.
Yeah.
Or even Tony Gwynn.
I was about to say, imagine if Tony Gwynn was hitting 397 a year and also hit like 38 bombs.
Right.
He probably could if he wanted to.
He could have, but he chose not to.
There was a guy named
it was
Barry
one
Bonds.
season with Tony. He got tired of the San Diego fans and the press complaining, so he hit only 320, and he hit like 30 home runs. I say only 320, bro. Only 320.
I'm just saying there was a guy named Bonds that did that. I'm just saying. There was
we know.
There was a guy named Bonds.
Listen. Tony Gwynn was a better hitter than Barry Bonds. Come on, son.
But Barry wasn't that shabby either. Barry
No, I know.
400. Barry
But I'm
with 400.
saying is a pure hitter.
Oh yeah. But I'm just saying. But Barry flirted with 400 too.
Yeah, but once Barry started hitting in the 50s and 60 home runs, his average dropped a lot.
Yeah, his average did drop.
No. Remember, he still flirted with it. He still because he was getting all those walks. They refused to pitch to him.
Yes, but his average still dropped, bro.
His average wasn't as high.
No, bro. Hey, I'm a Barry Bonds fan. His average didn't drop. He still was bad because he flirted with like 400 one of those years.
It dropped, but it dropped, but it didn't like.
He was still
It
bad.
didn't go under 300.
What I'm saying is, compared to when he was winning batting titles,
Yeah.
Okay, once he started hitting 40, 50, 60 home runs, he was no longer a batting title guy, so his hitting dropped. We're talking relative. We're talking relative now.
Yeah,
right?
but he was a guy who could hit that had the power, and he flirted. One of those years, he went like almost to the All-Star game. He was still hitting close to 400.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a guy named Barry that was able to do that. And I'm gonna say this because I know y'all want to wrap it up. Judge is really good, but if he can stay healthy, you know who I think is still an MVP from him? A
Who?
guy in Houston by the name of Alvarez. And
Yeah,
Steve
whatever.
Lowe.
Not
When
even
that dude,
Jordan Alvarez is not gonna get close
not
to
even
that.
entertaining that.
when
With
that
that
dude
being
is
said,
healthy,
we're gonna get out of here, man.
when
He
that
fucking
dude is
crazy.
healthy, bro, he's
Okay.
But
he'll
when is he healthy? And I'm a
that's the
damn
problem.
Astros
And
fan. It's like,
that's
but
the
when is he
problem.
healthy? It's like, come on now, Larry. It's like Judge is
He
Hey,
tried
in
it.
another.
He tried it though.
I can
he played
admit
more
that
than hey,
Judge
He
is on
tried it.
another level from everybody else. It's
he played more
Judge,
than Mike
and
Trout.
then yeah.
That ain't saying much.
He played more
That
than
ain't
Mike
saying
Trout,
much.
but like that.
With that being said, we're gonna get out of here, man. Another great show, man. I love doing this show with you guys. With that being said, CK, I'm gonna get you out of here first, man. Give me a plug and close. We shut it down, big homie.
Watch Killers on Hulu, the new Predator movie. It's
We
the
don't
greatest
get paid
Predator
from
movie
them,
ever
so
made.
stop promoting
Are
them.
you getting paid by Hulu?
Exactly.
I'm
I
trying
don't
to
give
get.
a
I'm
shit.
trying
If
to
I
get us
see
some
you mention that
sponsorship,
one
bro.
more time,
I'm trying to
it's
get us some
like
sponsor. Hulu, sponsor us.
now.
Give us free stuff. No,
I was gonna watch this. I was gonna watch the show. Now I'm not.
Hulu, give us free stuff. Anyway,
Coach is serious too. He's so
Hulu
so
Killers.
violent.
No, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun tonight, man. It was
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun tonight, man. Summer's coming. Get outside. You're a veteran, friend of veteran. Get him outside. Get him out in the sunshine. Get some vitamin D. Do something. Move a muscle. Change your thought. Thanks a lot, guys.
All right, big dog, man.
Right.
Catch you on the next one, man. Yeah, man. Again, as a spouse to a veteran, man, that bows true. So definitely do that. Coach, you know what to do, my man. Get us out of here, big dog.
All right. Look, guys. I love doing this show. I've been swamped at work. In case you know, like don't know, like working a pharmacy. Rite Aid went out of business. There are like 13 Rite Aids around us that all of a sudden we got their business. But so I've been super busy at work. So anytime I can, that's why I was late. Hand up. That's why I was late. I got work. We got hundreds of
Wait,
new.
Coach, you're a drug dealer?
Yes, I am. I'm the best. I'm the. Yes, I am. I'm the best. I'm the
Well,
best
once
there
you find
is.
us, man, get out of
Now,
here.
now, now see,
You
now
know
see,
what
now
I said
see,
when I
now,
said
now,
ain't no 401k for a
now,
hustler. You
now,
knew
now
exactly
see,
what I
now
meant.
see, now see, Barry. Now you don't have your sweet mother like you do a show with that Steve that you do a show with. He's a drug dealer. You do
Yeah,
a show with somebody selling that rock. You know what I'm saying?
some of that smack.
That dope. You know what I'm saying? But anyway,
I'm gonna call
like
you West Side Gun. That's what I'm gonna call
yeah.
you.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
But
Sponsored by
anyway,
Hulu.
yeah. Hey yo. No, but anyway, like man, look, see the link, share the link. Make sure you check us out on all social media. Make sure look like I said, you're working like I do. You're driving around. Check us out on Spotify. Put that thing on and listen to the execs while you're driving around doing your errands and stuff like that. That's what I do. I go back and listen to the show all the time. Make sure you do the same thing. Instagram, Facebook, everything like that, man. Like, look, you already know how I close it out. God is good.
All the
All the
time.
time.
Make sure to drink y'all water. It's hot, man. Make sure y'all stay hydrated, hydrated. Make sure you drink your water. And of course, with the tour underway, I gotta try to get some tickets. But let's put them dubs up. Wu-Tang is for the children.
New Master
Peace.
Killer in stores. Ghostface coming out with an album in a couple weeks.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
working their concert. They're gonna be out here. I also got that K dot. Yeah, I'm gonna be busy. No, I'm sorry. Anywho, Larry, you know what to do, man. Get us out of here, big dog.
Man, look, so y'all know y'all over here start coming at me with this Barry Bonds. Barry Bonds batted 370 the year he hit 46 and won 2 battles titles in that run. Yes, Barry Bonds, bro. Yes, I'm a Barry Bonds guy. Always been a pleasure. I'm good, man. It's always good when we got all 5 execs back in the building, man. Look, hey, we've been biting at the bit all day today. We've been in the chat going at it. Barry jumped in late and he was like, "Yeah, I got to get a little piece of this too." Man, look, we've been amped up all day today. We knew what was coming. Yes. Look, hey, you know what? This is how crazy it was today. Me and CK have been getting on serious all day, going back and forth, and Barry didn't even hesitate to jump in. It was like, "No, we're gonna continue this right now." Nah, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it, bro. Hey, so yeah, man. Look, Like, I'm like, Steve, man, you see it, shit, man. It was been a pleasure tonight. And remember, Google is free, and you can look up what QBR means.
I do so much. Feeling get us out of here, big dog.
Yeah, man, thank you, everybody. I agree with Larry. Google is free. No, okay. It's good when all the execs are in here talking that stuff. Good to see Coach Larry. Always a good time. Listen, just get out there, listen to our shows. We got a lot of good content out there. I just got to say, today was a crazy day. I was working all day, but then it was the last day of school for my kids. So I had my kids and I had to take them out we always do something in the last day of school. My son graduated 6th grade, going to middle school, honor roll student. So proud of my son. My little peanut, she's going to 3rd grade. So it was that kind of day. But I'm glad I got in to talk
Page
some
51. That's all I'm gonna say. Page
That's
51.
right. That's right. My little girl, she said 51 today too. Like, Dad, 51, 51. I was like, you don't take your little black behind somewhere. But nah, I love my babies. So I'm so proud of them as a father, and so proud of my oldest too. She's graduating tomorrow. So just hey, we're out here, man. Listen to us. We're doing big things.
Yes, sir, man. Appreciate you, big dog. Man, it's your boy Sears up in that 412 and the 703, man. Such a privilege and absolute pleasure doing this show with these gentlemen. I will say this, man. Father's Day is Sunday, so salute to all the fathers that are out there. I know Larry's a pops, obviously Coach, Villain, myself, man. Any listeners who's a father, man, definitely salute to you guys. Normally I close my shows out like this, but the month of June is Men's Mental Health Month. We need to take care of our mental health. If you're struggling in that area, go speak to somebody, find another gentleman that you trust to kind of help you through. Society beats up on men a lot. If you cry, you're soft. If you show emotion, you're angry, and the list goes on and on. Take care of yourself, man. We need more men. We need more good men to stick around for their friends, their family, and their loved ones. And with that being said, next week we'll be back in the building. Also, check out our socials, man. We're gonna be doing a mass social media blitz with a bunch of content that I just have stored. So we're gonna be hitting that hard. Wrestling show is gonna be back next week. My man Villain's gonna be hosting that. I'm gonna be out of pocket, so you'll see me back again on Tuesday. With that being said, God bless you guys. Catch you on the next one. Peace.